Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the 823 podcast, or at least I think it's episode 5, with my guest, Kevin Hinkle.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Yeah, the technical difficulties have not gotten us down. We have finally gotten this show on the road, only 15 minutes late.
Hey, we're not late. We're early for the next episode.
Yes, that is what we're going to go with in this episode of the 823 podcast. So
there it is. See, that's I mean, it's a good mindset to have.
Yeah.
You know, you're not late. You're just early next time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Kevin, this is the first time that you've been on the show. Well, it's everyone's first time being on the show. We've had no repeat guests yet. But yeah, so we're going to kind of just get into your introduction to Lego and the hobby and kind of your first sets, when you started, this journey of sorts.
The journey?
The journey. It's all in the journey.
Awesome. It is. Well, thank you again for the invitation to join you on your podcast, and I definitely wish you a lot of success. I hope it is a very long and fruitful journey for you, and that you have a lot of awesome guests, and you continue to grow and evolve the program.
Thank you.
But yes, thank you for inviting me on,
and thank you for being on.
And so my Lego journey as it was, I played with Lego as a child, as I'm sure most people have. And some of my earliest memories of playing with Lego was some of the very old, what is it even called back then? Town or World City or whatever it was, but mostly police. I remember police sets. I remember, and this is when I'm age 5, age 6, age 7. I remember playing with some old, I don't know if you would categorize it as classic space, but I did have like some of the old Insectoids sets. Those were the space theme bug aliens that would have light and sound in the spaceships.
Those count.
And I'd have those. Oh, yeah. It's good stuff, right? Good stuff.
Yeah.
And what's the other guy? I think it's Spyrus, where it's like black and silver and red.
I have not heard of that one, but now I want to look it up. we're gonna learn new things.
I think it's called Spyrus. But yeah, so I had a couple space things, and then my favorite, kind of my standout Lego theme though was Western. I was absolutely in love with the Lego Western theme. That was the Cowboys and Bandits. There was, I don't know, like a dozen sets. They had my favorite Lego set of all time, the Fort Legoredo.
Oh, yes.
Which was released, I want to say, in 1996 and then re-released in 1998. But that is my favorite Lego set. But yeah, some of my earliest memories, though, was some of those town sets and the space stuff. And I also remember getting a Happy Meal toy when I was a little kid. I want to say it was a red helicopter, and I got it in a Happy Meal. My grandmother took me to McDonald's. I got a Happy Meal, as many fresh-faced young American kids, and got a Happy Meal and had a delightful little red helicopter in there for me to play with.
There you go. That is the most, like, American way to start out.
Yeah.
I mean, McDonald's, and I mean, man, I feel bad for people who aren't from America watching this that may have no idea what we're talking about. But if you have a McDonald's,
that's the way you do it.
I mean, McDonald's is pretty global now, so I guess we could go with that. But I mean, hey, it's pretty. McDonald's is very American, so there you go.
Absolutely. And yeah, and I've been, well, I wouldn't necessarily say I've been collecting ever since, because I haven't, but I played with it a lot as a child for many years. I want to say when I turned maybe 12, maybe that sounds about right. I was, quote, done playing with Lego. And so I gave that to my younger siblings. I am one of five. I have four other siblings, but I'm the oldest, and so I handed that down to my younger brother and my younger sister, and they got to inherit my Lego collection, which was the classic giant plastic Sterilite bin. It was the one bin full of everything. It was not quite full, but I would say half full to 3/4 full. I had kept all my instructions. I did not throw any instructions away, and I kept all the base plates. So when I gave it to them, it was this big bin full of random brick with a layer of base plates and then a layer of instructions. And so I gave that to them, and I actually did not touch Lego again until two things happened in my life. One was my son, my oldest son now, at the time my only son. He turned 5, and I wanted to introduce Lego to him because I remember having a lot of very fond memories of it as a child myself. So I got him a Lego City police station, and he was not at all familiar with Lego, so he was very frustrated with the build and didn't know how to do it. So I basically built it for him, and then he played with it. And secondly, I walked into my local shopping mall. At the time, I was living in Denver, Colorado, and there was this magical place called a Lego brand retail store there. And I had no familiarity with the Lego store. I didn't know there were Lego stores. And so that was just a catalyst to many years of my life. It's still to this day a pretty big starting point for my journey. But that store, it was just this wonderful experience. I was enamored with the store. I thought everything in it was amazing. I had a great time. I left there with a catalog. They had free Lego catalogs to take, so I took one home. They had all kinds of stuff I didn't know was a thing. I bought a keychain. I remember I bought a Lego Star Wars Darth Vader keychain when I was there.
Oh, man.
I don't even know why. I just did. And I remember asking them if they were hiring, because I was looking for a job. Actually, I was in the market for some kind of work. They weren't. They were not hiring. But it was just very delightful. And I actually ended up, as fate would have it, I did end up working in that store maybe half a year later when they actually were hiring. So I started working at the Lego store. And here we are today.
After what year does this take place? Like what kind of time frame are we talking here?
Sure. So I began working for the Lego Group in that store. Actually, believe it or not, are you ready for this? Can you handle this?
I am ready. I want to hear this now.
September 9th. Today is September 9th.
No way.
September 9th, 2005. Exactly. To the day. To the day.
Wow. That's pretty, that's almost kind of creepy, but here we are.
It's a little weird.
Man, that was...
and that's obviously not...
Whoop. Uh-oh.
Not planned whatsoever, but it just so happened. I was like, oh, look, it's the 9th. Yep, that was the day.
Wow. That's gonna haunt me for the rest of the show. I'm scared now.
It's cool. Hey, sometimes coincidences are great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is 2005. That was the year that I started working at the Lego store in technically Lakewood. It's a suburb of Denver, but Lakewood, Colorado. 2005. In 2005, for any knowledgeable Lego fans, they will be well aware that that was a very, very, very different time period for the Lego group. 2005 was right there, kind of right in maybe a little bit of the middle, a little bit of the trail end of their near bankruptcy as a company. So that was a very interesting time to start working
Yeah.
for such a toy company.
I mean, hey, if it works, it works, and I mean, it worked out pretty well for them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure that they
Yeah,
came out okay.
they figured it out. Don't worry.
But yeah, so that's kind of, I mean, that kind of opens up into our second topic. Look at the transition. I mean, everything is just
It's
clicking today.
amazing.
It's incredible. But we are kind of going right into our second point here. Kind of your store experience and some of your best memories, just like things that you did there or while you were there that you're like, wow, that's really, really, that's something that I'm gonna remember. So just kind of stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things that I've said over the years, as I've shared my experience working at a Lego store, and during my process of working Lego retail, I actually worked at three separate Lego store locations. So I started working at the Lego store in Lakewood, Colorado. I eventually transferred to a store in Chandler, Arizona, and then I transferred again to a store in Austin, Texas. Um, Also, through those three different locations, I also had the opportunity to work all four different roles that there are in a Lego store. So when you come in, obviously you come in at the bottom level, which would be a sales associate, or in modern Lego store terminology, a quote, brick specialist. I still don't quite know what that even means. But uh, brick specialist is the quote marketing term
Yeah.
for a sales associate. So you come
Marketing
in
is
as a sales
everything.
associate. And
Marketing is
marketing is
everything.
absolutely everything. So I came in as a sales associate at the Colorado location, and during my time there, I was able to move up the ranks to a store supervisor, and then after a couple more years, I moved up again to an assistant store manager. When I moved down to Arizona, I was actually given a store manager role, so that was my store to manage in Arizona. And then I transferred over to Austin at my own request, because Austin, Texas, is actually my hometown. That's where I was born, was in Austin.
Oh,
And so I moved to Austin because I thought, hey, that seems like a pretty good opportunity if you're going to put a store in my hometown.
yeah.
So I took it, and it was a great opportunity, and then I moved over as a store manager there. Um, but so one of the things I've said over the years to a lot of people that I've shared my experience with, they've asked like, oh, what is it like working for Lego retail or Lego stores? And I'm like, the thing you really need to understand is when you remove the Lego brand from Lego brand retail, it is still retail. So it's obviously really cool in the fact that you are selling a cool product that most of the consumers that come into your store are already very happy with and have a very um, positive perception of what of what you're selling.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be like, hey, how do I get you in this car today? Like, you don't have to be that car salesman.
Yeah.
Um, but it's still retail, right? So it's and to boot, it's toy retail.
Yes.
So during the holiday season,
That's
during
just what I
peak
was getting
season,
ready to ask.
when you start
How
getting
is the
into
holidays?
yeah, when you start getting into November and December, and even January, to be honest, because January after Christmas is done, January is the month of both returning products because you already had it, and everybody got gift cards, so they want to use their money. So that whole November to January is a very intense period of time, and Lego, it has changed in recent years. But when I started Lego, like in that 2005, 2006, 2007 year span, the company would make up about 75% of its annual sales just in Q4. So it's just in that October, November, December period of time.
Wow.
It's not the same today. It is different now. But back then, it was, you could tell just how intense the peak season was. But of course, intense is all relative. Like, I'm sure the crowds then compared to the crowds now are probably pretty small. But it's still retail. So during the holiday season, I personally love Christmas. It is the best time of the year. I'm a Christmas child. I was actually born Christmas Eve.
Oh wow!
So it's I have very fond feelings towards Christmas, regardless of my retail past. But it brings out the best in people, and it brings out the worst in people. And so you get a lot of very angry parents and angry grandparents and angry aunts and uncles when you just ran out of that thing that little Johnny or little Susie has on their wish list. And how dare you sell out of that product? They get pretty angry and pretty unrealistic in terms of service.
Yeah.
So,
but I would guess that would be a problem.
Yeah, that aside, because I don't want to dwell too much on negativity, because I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of positivity.
Yeah.
But from a positive perspective, as I mentioned earlier, you're selling a product that a lot of people almost instinctively have a fondness for and positivity around it. So people come into the store and they're usually happy. They come in and they have a smile on their face, and that's a great environment to work in. Is to have these people come in and whether they're a little kid, whether they're a young adult, or they've just had kids. People come in and they just they get washed with nostalgia, and they're like, "Oh, Lego! I remember Lego." That's like what everybody says when they walk in the store. I remember Lego, and even though it's not gone, hasn't gone anywhere, yes. But they always say that, and it's really awesome to kind of be there. I through my retail, so I worked Lego retail from 2005 all the way up to 2011.
Okay.
And in that time frame, I kind of saw a bunch of different things. I saw the birth, the life, and the death of the Lego Store birthday party program. So that's where they started hosting birthday parties to kind of compete with Build-A-Bear.
Oh man, that sounds like an interesting experience.
Yeah, and amazingly, it did phenomenally well because the stores didn't charge anything for it.
Really?
So if you wanted to have a Lego Store birthday party, you could come in and you had to buy the products. So like if your birthday party has 15 kids, you'd have to buy 15 sets. And then you would get a dedicated Lego Store staff member to basically watch over your kids and come up with games and activities and have fun for like an hour and a half. And the cost was the cost of the Lego sets. Like that was the cost.
Wow.
And so, of course, I mean, I have kids. That's not how it works. You don't go to Chuck E. Cheese and you're like, oh, wow, this is great. I only need to buy like exactly what I need. Like there's packages. There's birthday packages that cost a fortune.
Yes.
And you get stuff you need, but you get a lot of extra stuff you don't need. Like you're going with a little birthday party of 10 kids, you don't need a package that has 50 drinking cups. It's like you just don't need it.
Yeah.
But that's what you get. That's the birthday package. But Lego stores did launch a birthday party program. I was there. I remember I personally hosted the first birthday party that we had in our store in Colorado when we launched the program. I don't remember exactly what it was themed based on, but I want to say Exoforce.
Really? And that's an interesting theme. Like,
yeah.
And what I mean,
yeah. And
how
so,
long did that theme last? Like 2-3 years, right?
I think it lasted 3 years. I think.
Okay, so it lasted long enough.
Yeah,
they had a dedicated following. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because like year one was like the whole lights, like they had the light up tubes in the robots.
Oh yeah.
And then year two, they went to the Golden City. It was all gold and stuff. And then year three, they were in the jungle.
Okay, that's right.
So, but yeah, So I think it was Exoforce theme, but it doesn't even matter. But I did that, and then the program lasted throughout my time in Arizona, and then carried over to my time in Texas. And I remember at that time I'm a store manager, so I never hosted birthday parties anymore because that just doesn't fall under management. But at Texas, as a store manager, when the program concluded, and they said we're discontinuing the birthday party program, I said it is very important to me that I personally host this birthday party. So I hosted the last birthday party that happened in the Austin location.
That's pretty.
Just because I had remembered that I had hosted the first one when the whole program started, and so I was like, man, I gotta do it again. I have to have the beginning and the end. So that was kind of a fun memory for me. The birthday party was kind of, they were kind of surprised that the store manager was running their birthday party, but I was like, no, you don't. But that was a fun opportunity. Of course, being in a Lego store, you get to do a lot of building. Because you have a lot of Lego sets on display, you have a lot of retail, you have stuff that's maybe not necessarily Lego building, but like these cool displays in the windows that you need to assemble them. So like you have like a cardboard temple of air jitsu to advertise the new Ninjago set. And so you do a lot of construction and a lot of assembly, whether that's Lego sets, Lego products, or displays. And that's not very different from other retail. Like if you have a new product launch, they're probably going to send you a lot of cardboard and plexiglass and stuff to build things to put in the window.
Right.
And so you do a lot of that at Lego. There was usually a new launch about every 6 weeks, I would say. Mm-hmm. So, every six weeks or so, there'd be a new thing to build and set up in the window. And I enjoyed doing that. I like setting up new displays in the windows and putting the new products. And I liked posing the products. So, the whole visual merchandising is what it's called. Like the process of setting up the boxes on the shelf and the price labels and how does it look. I liked merchandising the shelves to make them look really nice. And I liked merchandising the sets on display in the cases. Because I like them to be animated. Like if there's like I remember I was setting up the Prince of Persia sets. Oh. And I was like, oh, well, I got to have Prince Destan. He's got to be doing backflips and stuff with the stagger of time.
There you go.
So I would, just take extra care to put the minifigs in cool positions. And you usually use like a, sticky tack or whatever so the minifigs wouldn't fall over in the case. And I liked it. And I liked how the kids would be like, oh, look, Mom, look, that little character is like jumping. And I'm like, yeah. And whenever I go to like a different Lego store, I'd be like, oh, look, these people just put all the minifigs just standing upright in their case. It's kind of lame.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that is a way to promote competition between the stores. Who has the best minifigures in their display cases? And I mean,
exactly.
Whatever store that Mr. Kevin Hinkle works at is the one that will win. That's just a fact.
Hey,
that is a foregone conclusion.
That's it. And I enjoy just talking to kids. I actually enjoy kids a lot. I like talking with them. I think they're fun. So I like working in an environment where you have kids all the time. Sometimes parents can be a little but the kids are always all right.
Yeah. That is yeah. Obviously, you kind of have to be that way, like if you're working in a Lego store, I mean, most of your audience that's going to be in there is like kids and whatnot. So it's going to be, you kind of have to have that kind of.
Yeah. What's funny is, where was I? I'm trying to remember where I was. I can't remember if I was either in Arizona or if I was in.
It was right after the birthday party.
Well, if I was in Arizona or Texas, but there was a time when I was conducting an interview for a new employee to work in the store. And I had asked him a classic interview question. Tell me what one of your weaknesses is, and how do you think working here at this store will help you overcome that weakness? And it's a very fluffy question, and it begs a very fluffy answer. And so the guy who was interviewing did actually surprise me, and I have never forgotten his answer. He's like, well, I actually really dislike children. I'm just like, and I just kind of like sat there and I just blankly stared at him. I'm like, okay. He's like, so I think if I work here in a Lego store, I'll be forced to see kids all the time. So I'm hoping that I'll get better at like dealing with children. And again, I'm just staring at him like, I appreciate your honesty,
But was
but
that a good thing to say?
I don't think I want to use my store and my customer base as your proving ground to get over your disdain for children. I don't. I mean, again, I thank you for your honesty. I think that's very brave of you, but I don't think this will be a good fit.
What are you talking about? It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. When has that ever been said and something bad happened? I mean, come on now.
Exactly.
But anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of great stuff. There was also a lot of there was some difficulty and there was some hardships, and just like any career, you have your ups and you have your downs. I would say one of the hardest things was just moving. Having to move twice across multiple states is a little rough on a family. Mm-hmm. And now, I was married. I did have a child. So that was a little rough. But, it was my decision and I did it. And luckily my family supported me. But when we got to about 2010, 2011, I was really getting burnt out of just the retail environment.
Yes.
Not necessarily anything having to do with the Lego brand per se or the wider organization, but just retail. I was just like, I'm just done with retail. I'm done with like the really kind of crummy hours of, you don't get your 2-day, you don't get a weekend. There's no such thing as a weekend. You get like, this week I have Wednesday off and Sunday off, and next week I have Tuesday off and Friday off, and next week I have Monday and Wednesday off. Like, that's just how it is in retail. I mean, you get your 2 days off, but they're never together, and they're always somewhere odd. And forget holidays. Holidays are usually great shopping days, mm-hmm. So you're going to be working on a holiday too. And like I said, it's great, but the holiday season gets a little rough on you.
Yeah.
You start to earn your stripes during the Christmas season. So I was getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out of retail, but I still really wanted to work at Lego. I was really enjoying my time working at the company. The company was making a lot of really awesome strides as a company, as it was really climbing out of that early mid to late 2000s era of like bankruptcy. They were really on a great trajectory, and I was like, I like this company, and I had graduated from college with a bachelor's degree of fine arts, so I'm an artist. That's what I do. But sadly, I graduated from school and I said, "Hey guys, I'm an artist. Hire me."
Well,
and nobody did.
I mean,
so
hey,
I mean, I was.
You gotta try.
I was work.
You gotta try to do what you like to do, and
Sure.
If people don't recognize that, then just give it time, and eventually they will. Time and whatnot.
That's it. I mean, you couldn't be more right. I got out of college. I threw my hands in the air. I shot out resumes. I had a portfolio. I had a demo reel. And I was like, guys, I'm a freelance artist. I can do graphic design. I can do illustration. I can do animation. I can do stop motion. Come on. But nobody was feeling it. I wasn't really given a shot. I did a couple, like probably no more than 5 freelance gigs outside of college. And that was it. But so I was working at Lego. As I told you, I got this job at a Lego store while I was in college. And then I graduated college and I kept working at Lego because Lego was giving me a steady paycheck and I enjoyed it. I was like, all right, I'll stick with this. And, then I became a manager. Then I moved out of state. And then I moved out of state again. But so I'm totally burnt out. And I said, well, let's see what else there is. And so I brought up the Lego website. Nothing secretive here. I just brought up jobs.lego.com. And I was looking through it, and I was like, is there anything else in the company that maybe I can do where I can just transfer to some other role that's not retail, but I can still stay at the company? And there was a lot of stuff that I was like, nah, I don't want to be an accountant. No, I don't want to work in finance. I don't want to work in marketing. I don't want to work in IT. I don't want to be a data programmer. I don't want to be an HR partner. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, Lego's like any other company. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of roles across every different facet of the company. Most people are like, oh, I want to work for Lego. I want to be a product designer. And like, that's all. It's like, well, I mean, they still need janitors. They still need people that vacuum the floors. They still need people that, do all kinds of stuff. And they're still Lego employees. They're not any less of a Lego employee because they're not a product. So I found a job listed on the Lego website for a North America Community Coordinator. And I was like, I don't know what in the heck that even means. But it kind of sounds interesting. So I read the job description, and Lego's also, as like many companies, very mysterious with their job listings. Like, you'll go look at a role like, ooh, senior manager experiential marketing. What's that mean? And you read it and you're like, I still don't know what that means.
That's a big word. That is a very big word.
Kind of the same. Yeah. So I did the same thing. I read it and I was like, I don't really know what this means, but okay. So I emailed the hiring manager because his name and contact details were in the job listing. And I said, hey, so I'm already a Lego employee. I'm actually a store manager of a Lego store, and I'm looking to branch out of retail. I saw the job listing, and I just wanted to know what it is. So we ended up having a phone call. He actually thought I would be a great fit. And he explained to me what it was. He's like, well, this role is about working with the Lego fan community. That's what we mean when we say community. It's the Lego fans. And I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. So I ended up going through the interview process. I think it was a 3-part interview. I had an interview with HR. Then I had an interview with the hiring manager, a proper one, not just like a phone call about what the role is. And then I had a third interview with the hiring manager's boss. So that person would have been my boss's boss. It worked out. They offered me the job. And I left retail in 2011. And I had to, unfortunately, move again. So I moved my family to where I am currently living, which is Enfield, Connecticut, and started working for the Lego corporate office.
I'm gonna throw another crazy thing at you right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I actually I just passed by Enfield, Connecticut about a month ago.
Did you really?
Yes. We were driving out there, and I saw the sign, and I was like, Enfield. And it took me a split second to figure out what it was, and I was like, oh, that's where Lego is. So, but, I mean...
It is. And you didn't stop to say hello.
It was like it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't think anybody would have been super interested in me showing up. But yeah, it was pretty, it was a pretty, crazy circumstances, but I did go by there at one point. So, anyway.
And so where I live, my house is about 12 minutes south of the office in Enfield, Connecticut. So we were in the same, we were breathing the same oxygen for a few hours.
There you go. We are coming back full circle to crazy things that have happened. And, I mean, that's how it goes. Crazy things happen, and we are going to talk about them here on the Crazy Things podcast.
That's the next one. That's the second series.
That's going to be my spin-off series. That's gonna eventually take over this spot. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing, but yeah, please continue.
No, that's awesome. So what is interesting about that? Because again, something I've been asked a lot over the years is there any type of tour or publicly accessible area of the Lego corporate office in Enfield, Connecticut? And the answer is very easy. No, there's not. You can drive by it. It's a fancy-ish, I guess, building if you're super into Lego. There's a giant sign that says Lego. There's some giant bricks, like 2x4 bricks, that are kind of laid out on a pile. I mean, these things are like 12 feet long. And you can like take a picture kind of, but it's not necessarily open to the public. So like if there is a security guard, there's like 2 security guards that wander around the premises. And the premises is like 2 buildings. If he sees you out there taking a picture in front of the bricks, he'll be like, "This is private property. Please move." But people take photos in front of them all the time. But you have that. You got bricks. You can take pictures in front of.
I mean, let's be honest. If you have 2 giant 2x4 Lego bricks out in front, even if you're not a Lego fan, you're probably going to get a picture in front of them. Like, it's like one of those world records or something that you see alongside the road. Like, how do I not stop and take a picture with this? You know, it's just... Totally.
Yeah. I absolutely. I remember when I was still new to the corporate environment. I mean, I'd already been working for Lego for 6 or 7 years then, but I was new to Connecticut. I was there on a weekend. I think it was a Saturday, and I just so happened to be driving by the office, and I had my kids... Or my kid. I think I had one kid. I had one kid then. I have 2 kids now. And I said, "Oh, hey, do you want to see the office where I work?" I didn't go inside, but I said, "I can show you the big bricks." And so this was like on a Saturday. I'm not dressed like office wear. I'm just wearing T-shirt and jeans or whatever. And I was just, like I said, happened to be driving by the office that day. And I said, "Let me show you the big bricks." So I got a picture with my son sitting on front of or next to the brick. He might have been sitting on the brick. I don't remember. But the security guard was there, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir, you can't be here. This is private." I'm like, I work here. And he was like, "Do you have your badge?" And I was like, "No, it's Saturday. I don't just drive around with my badge." But he allowed the photo to complete. But he was very skeptical if I was lying.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Sure? Like, if you came up, like, if you were that security guard and someone said, no, wait, I work here. Like, I mean, I would be a little skeptical. I mean, it is, like, it's
that's
his
what
job.
They all say.
It's his job to keep people from, I mean, what would they do? Like, scratch up the bricks? I mean, like, rain could do that, but... They got to keep the bricks shiny. That's, I guess.
Exactly.
For more pictures
so, I mean, I get
they don't want to exist.
I get it. I understand. He's just doing his job.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, there's nothing else. Unfortunately, there's no like visitor center. There's no. I mean, there's stuff inside, but you have to know somebody. You have to have an appointment with somebody. Okay. It's not that like the campus is on security lockdown. Believe me, there's no secrets that are that important there that needs to be locked down.
Do they have the 501st Battle Pack in there?
Well, yeah, for the U.S. It's not Denmark. Lego's based globally in Denmark. Denmark is where product design is. Denmark is where they're working on the next Lego sets for the next 3 years out. Like, that's lockdown.
Yes.
The U.S. is just marketing and sales. That's what it is.
Okay.
If you know people and you can set up an appointment, I mean, the office is kind of nice in there, but yeah, you can't just wander in and say, "Hello, I'm here to wander your facility." Not exactly how things work.
Well,
but yeah, so ended up moving over there. I ended up taking on the role as a community coordinator, and I started working with the adult Lego fan community. So that means I was kind of the liaison between the Lego group and the adult fan community, the AFL community in North America. And over the years, I ended up accumulating South America too. So I started off having just the United States and Canada because there wasn't really a lot of activity in Mexico, which is also part of North America. But over the years, I ended up, again, moving up the ranks So I went from being a community coordinator to a senior community coordinator to then a community manager. And when I was a manager, I was in charge of 2 continents. So I was basically the liaison for the company to the Lego fan community for half of the world.
That's not, I mean,
That was
that's just a
an
little bit of a big
insanely
job.
daunting task.
That's just a little bit of a job.
Just a little bit. I mean, it was very daunting, very daunting. Um, and most of my job was answering phone calls or making phone calls, answering emails, looking at spreadsheets, and a lot of traveling. A lot of traveling. So
That
I
sounds
was,
amazing.
as the fan guy, as the liaison, it was my job to represent the Lego company at Lego fan events. So the fan events could be Brick Fair, BrickCon, Brick World, Brick Magic, Brick Universe, Brick Fest, Bricks Cascade, Bricks by the Bay, um, Bricks in the Six, Brick Fete, Brick Can. There is so many Lego fan events all across North America. And that's just North America. If you start factoring in the other areas like South America, you've got Brickfest Peru, Brickfest Santiago, Expo La Brazil. I mean, there's so many shows. And so at this stage, now I'm cheating a little bit because I haven't been at Lego since 2017. But if you factor in my travel from the last couple years and all of my time at Lego, I have been to over 60 Lego fan organized conventions.
Wow. That's incredible. That's
It's
that's a lot of conventions.
it's a lot. It starts to blur a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, which show was that again? I don't remember. And I have I am impressed with my brick badge collection. But,
I'm sure.
but yeah,
That's
a lot
got
of
to be
traveling.
like a skyscraper by now.
Well, so I was very, very fortunate in that I was invited this year to deliver the keynote address at Brick World Chicago, which is one of the largest Lego fan events in the country. And so during my presentation, I said, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny to finally count up how many shows I've been to?" So I did. I did the numbers, and I went through all my badges, and I went through all my keepsakes to see how many shows I've been. That's when I was like, "Oh man, I've been to like 50 something, like 58 or whatever." Um, and I wanted to take a photograph of me with the brick badge on my shirt with a simulated brick to represent every show I had been to. Because I keep my brick badges together. I don't like separate them out where they have like the one by 8 brick that has the event name on it. Like I usually keep the whole badge together.
Okay.
But so I was like, let me get a 1 by 8 brick in like a similar-ish color to the badge to represent every show. And I'll take a photograph of myself wearing it all snapped together on my shirt. And it would not, no matter what I did, it would not stay together.
Oh
Because
man.
it was so long and like it would pull my whole shirt down. It was, I think, like maybe 7 feet long. And it was just, it was
Wow.
actually silly. It was super silly. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to put this photograph in, it's too ridiculous. So I ended up just taking a nice like aerial shot collage of all the badges on a table. But I had the thought of taking a picture of myself wearing it, but that was very silly. So, but
there's no such thing
I
as
ended up
a
doing that.
silly picture of a Lego brick badge. That can't
Yeah.
happen. That can't be real.
It can't be real. But yeah, so I mean, I did that for a number of years, and that was, being a Lego community manager was probably the best and worst job of my life. You quickly find out that, when you're in a retail setting and you're dealing with kind of a nice mixture of consumers. You've got like the hardcore AFOLs, the adult fans that know everything about Lego and every product theme and what years they launched and what's the product color names and what's like, they know everything. But then you have that mixed in with like, mom, nothing. And she's like, I just want my grandson to have the best Lego set this Christmas. What's that going to be? And knows absolutely nothing. And then you have like little kids that just like to play, and maybe they only know one theme. Like I only know everything there is to know about Ninjago. I know nothing about anything else. Um, it's kind of like a nice, healthy mix. And then I went on to work in the community, and my audience was only the hardcore, only all the time, any given day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I say, it's the best job and the worst job because it was incredibly draining. And not, I don't always mean draining in a negative way. Like when you have a very passionate conversation with somebody, like say if you are a hardcore Star Wars fan and you have a friend who's a hardcore Star Wars fan, you guys get really energized and really passionate and really excited in what you talk about. Like, well, did you see the new trailer? But what do you think about this? And you're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're really into the talk. Yeah. And that was me with like 15,000 people across 2 continents every day. So it was like
that would be a rough
having
job.
to be, yeah, I mean, you have to be on point all the time. It's like, you know, you're dealing with people that are super passionate about Lego, the products, the themes, the brand, the company, the stores, the experience, the games, and they want a liaison that talks the way they talk. Like if you're a community rep and you don't know the difference between Blay and Gray, they don't want to talk to you because you've immediately lost their respect, right?
Yes.
You need to know the lingo. So, and that's okay. I don't mind. Like I'm a Lego fan. I will verse myself in the product themes and the portfolio and the color names and I'll do it. It's fine. But you're like working at like a 12 all the time. Oh, so man. It's like you're just all the time on. So I mean, I would leave shows like a Brick Fair, and I'd be flying back home, and I could not speak. My voice would be absolutely 100% gone. Oh, man. I would be sitting on the plane, gasping, because I had talked to 100, 200, 300, 400. I mean, some of these shows, well, Chicago and Brick Fair, Virginia, they have over 1,000 registered attendees. So that's 1,000 Lego fans that have registered to display. That's a lot of people to talk to.
Yes, it is.
So you have these conversations. So I would just sit there. I would just be dead. It'd just be like sitting on the plane dead. But, you know, it was fine, and I'd rejuvenate, and a couple of days later I'd be back at it again. So, but I did that for a number of years. I had to kind of represent Lego during the great times, during the hard times. You know, if Lego made a weird decision, I'd have to explain it to the fans. If they made a great decision, I got to be the messenger of good news. You know, like, and that was fun. There was some really cool things.
I gotta mention saving Ninjago. Like that's a pretty big deal. That you saved single-handedly saved Ninjago.
And you know, that's, I don't know if you've heard that whole story, but I'll tell it again because it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I was at a Lego fan event in Portland, Oregon. That event is called Bricks Cascade. It's a great show. I recommend it if you're anywhere in the area. I was at Bricks Cascade, and it was their first year. So I'm trying to remember what year that was, but it was year 1. They have been very successfully operating since then. But I was doing a Q&A, an official Lego-sponsored Q&A session. Here's your chance. Ask Kevin any questions you want to ask him. And before that, like very early before that, I was having a casual conversation with a Lego fan in the expo hall, one-to-one. And he said, hey, I got a question for you. And it was something about Ninjago. And it was like, you know, what are they going to do? How are they going to keep Ninjago going forever and ever? And I said, well, they're not. And I mean, this was a very innocent conversation between me and a consumer. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, they're not. And he's like, well, what do you mean they're not? I said, well, Ninjago is not planned to last forever. It's a Lego property like lots of Lego properties. It's got a 3-year lifespan. And most Lego themes do have a 3-year lifespan. That is what most Lego products have. It's planned for 3 years. And that's what Lego calls big bang. It's a big bang property. It's got like this kind of explosion into the market. It kind of peaks in excitement and peaks and it peaks and it peaks. And then year 2 is like the giant, huge climax. Something amazing happens. And then year 3, it's like kind of a downhill. It's not as exciting as the year before, but it's like it's kind of sunsetting its way out. That's the classic Lego formula. And so I said, well, Ninjago is a 3-year theme. So we're in year 2. So that means next year's year 3. And then it's done. I mean, I wasn't trying to stoke hysteria. I wasn't trying to throw conspiracy theories into the ether. I was just answering somebody's question. That was my job. And it was something that I thought was a very kind of easy to perceive thing from the outside. Like, you realize that like Lego products don't last that long, right? Like Lego Star Wars, yes, because it's an evergreen property. That's what Lego calls a theme that is planned to go on forever. Star Wars is evergreen. City is evergreen. Friends is evergreen. So I said, I would assume you understand, even from an outside perspective, that not everything is evergreen. Like, some things go away. So I'm at the Lego official Q&A on stage in front of I think it was maybe 100, maybe 150 participants of Bricks Cascade. And I said, all right, what are your questions? Let's have them. And we talked about all kinds of stuff, as we usually do. And one person raised their hand and said, I heard a rumor that you've announced that Lego Ninjago is being discontinued next year. And obviously that was very much from that conversation I had one-to-one with, and this was an older guy. I had that conversation with probably, I think, a 50-year-old man. I'm like, this is definitely, like, that guy has definitely gone back and pulled the shell and has blown the warning sign to all the fans. I don't understand why, but he has chosen to do that. So it's very clear to me, like, we've got a problem. Like, I just gave an innocent answer, which was a very truthful answer, and they are running with this in kind of a mass hysteria kind of way. And I said, okay, hold on. No, I did not announce that anything's being discontinued. I answered a question, and I explained to them on stage what the normal lifespan is for a Lego product, why things last 3 years, and how Ninjago is one of those. And that, that means that if we're in year 2, then year 3 is the end, and then a new theme will come out. And that was absolutely 100% the plan. Ninjago was going to be discontinued the next year, and Lego Legends of Chima was going to take over after that. And then that was going to have a 3-year lifespan. Now, it didn't matter. It did not matter what I said, because the theory, the conspiracy theory, was already in the ether. Lego announces discontinuation of Lego Ninjago. All of a sudden, there was YouTube videos that were made. It was kind of fascinating because I got a lot of different titles. So people would be like, we just gotten reports from Bricks Cascade. Lego product designer Kevin Hinkle has announced. And I'm like, I'm a product designer, but that's interesting. But yeah, like, I had, like, people called me marketing executive. They called me, somebody called me CEO. They go, CEO Kevin Hinkle from Lego, and now they're like, whoa.
Kevin,
I got a big promotion.
You are the CEO now.
But like,
I don't know what you're talking about. You were the CEO this whole time, and I'm announcing it on my show right now. Kevin is secretly the CEO of Lego.
Hey, that's my secret, man.
Yeah, we talked about it before the show.
Ninjago, as we all know, Ninjago was created to appeal to a younger audience. That was its function. That was its destiny. Appeal to the younger boys. It wasn't necessarily designed for girls, but it's great that if girls like it and play with it. But it was designed for boys kind of in that age 5, 6, 7 age range. That's Lego's sweet spot. That's where they like to put a lot of their effort into. And so you have a younger crowd that is very passionate about a Lego product. And now there are rumors spiraling across the internet that it's going away. So what do? They panic. And so they panicked hardcore. There was YouTube videos everywhere. Lego announces discontinuation of Ninjago. They were going into Lego stores across the country, kids were asking the Lego store employees, why is Lego Ninjago going away? The customer service call center in Infield started getting hundreds of phone calls from kids and concerned parents as to why they're getting rid of Ninjago. Um, this was unexpected by anybody's terms. Nobody thought that there was going to be this level of surprise and anger and frustration and dissatisfaction at a Lego theme going away. I don't know why they wouldn't, they just didn't. And so, because of that, because of that insane, unprecedented reaction, they pulled a full turnaround and said, we have to save it and we need it back on the shelf now. So, as I said, they were already going to have year 3 out. So that was already done and in the making. It was going to be on the shelves. But then they had to come up with a makeshift sub theme to keep it going for another year while they got the whole team back to full capacity and can keep designing the products normally. So there was a very skeleton sub theme the next year, which was the Ninjago rebooted sub theme. Rebooted, very much pun intended. And so they did that. It was a little bit of a skeleton wave. There wasn't a lot of sets. There wasn't really, I think, any content to support it either, like television content. Maybe there was a little bit. And then the year following, everything was back to normal, as if nothing had ever happened. Like, oh, wait, Ninjago's always been here. Ninjago has since been switched to Evergreen. So Ninjago is an Evergreen theme now. Now it will never go away. But back then, all I was doing my job and answering a question and being honest and saying, no, it's planned to go away next year. I'm not here to announce it's going away. I'm also not here to announce I'm saving it. I'm here to just tell you the answer to your question. And because of the hysterical reaction, in a very roundabout, backwards way, I ended up saving it. So it's very interesting.
Now, really quickly, how did like the people in kind of like the upper echelons of like, you know, the design department and things, like how did they react to this? Like people are making phone calls about this theme that's like, you know, supposed to go away, and you know, now all of a sudden you have, you know, all of a sudden, whoa, you know, people actually care about this. Like, you know, what was their reaction?
Well, so obviously my instinct was pure terror. Because I was honestly, I was mortified. I thought I've done something wrong. Somehow I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this. Somehow. Again, I was, according to me, and even in reflection, like me having hindsight and thinking back to that day, did I do anything out of the norm? And maybe I did something, because normally when you ask Lego, oh, when is this set going away? When is this theme retiring? They usually don't answer you, right? They usually give you no answer, is what they do. And that's not necessarily a lie, but it's just not being forthcoming with that information. And that is, I think, the more preferred Lego group position, is to not be so forthcoming with truthful information. You don't need to lie, but you just don't need to tell them everything.
Yeah.
And so in that context, yeah, I can see that maybe I didn't need to go all the way, but I still didn't say anything that was not true. And I still think in the long run, it benefited the company, because otherwise I would have said nothing. Otherwise, the theme would have ended, and then there would have been the outrage.
Yeah.
And so would the response have been different? No. I think it would have been the same. But the difference is, because of whatever you want to call it, my blunder, I gave them a year head start to try to make sure that Ninjago was still on shelves and there was no break. If I had not done that, and then the response happened, because it would have happened no matter what, then there would have been a full year of no Ninjago on shelf. And then the fear with any consumer product is, if you have demand and then you don't give them anything, then you will lose them.
Mhm.
Yes, people will stick around. Some people are going to wait, but other people are going to go, oh, I like Ninjago. Oh, there's no Ninjago. Okay, I'm done with Ninjago. I don't like Ninjago anymore. Like, it happens. It's factual. It's just this is how it works. Um, so, but I was terrified. I thought I'm going to get in trouble for this. Somehow I'm going to lose my job. Someone's going to yell at me. And did I have some very uncomfortable conversations with my boss and with other people? I did. I had very awkward, uncomfortable conversations. People are
How
like,
dare
"Well, why
you
did
do
you do
your
that?" I'm like, "I
job?
didn't."
That's
Well, and it's
I,
interesting because the people that I was having conversations with internally were picking up the cues from the community of what they were doing. So, Lego announces the discontinuation of Lego Ninjago. So I go into a meeting and they say, Kevin, why did you announce the discontinuation of Lego Ninjago? I didn't. That's not what I did. And so, like, they were, the conversations were very awkward. Did I get in trouble? Not officially. Like, I didn't get a reprimand. I didn't get, like, something on my record, but I had a lot of talks. And I was told, like I told you, don't be as forthcoming with information, please. And I was like, okay. But outside of that, I don't know how people reacted. I think in product design, they were just happy that there was such a love for their theme and their hard work that people wanted it, or kids wanted it to keep going, and I think they were happy about that.
yeah, absolutely. That would be a very, gratifying thing to know. Like, oh, people are actually seeing what we're doing and like really enjoying it. So yeah, definitely. Um,
And I'm positive that back then, those guys would have no idea that not only would that theme go on past its 3 years, but also be evolved into an evergreen and also have a theatrical film. Like, I mean,
yeah,
that's just like, come on.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I mean, there's kind of a little thing on our outline here. Like, is that a favorite memory of yours from your time as a community manager?
Well, it was a terrifying time memory.
I mean, like
and,
it
and
was. I mean, it was probably like a major. You impacted the timeline of Lego as a company for the rest of eternity. But like it was probably a very terrifying experience. So, was that a
I'll
good
take it.
memory or a bad memory?
I think in the moment it was a very bad one, just because I was so worried. I was worried that I have done something wrong. Um, in retrospect, it's a good memory. I do think that there was a lot of good that came out of it. Other good memories. I mean, I actually really did enjoy speaking with fans and kind of being that voice. I enjoyed the fact that they felt and truly felt that, like, Lego was listening to them, and that they were going to their events, seeing the things they build in person. I really did enjoy that. That was a very rewarding thing to do. That was a great memory. I got to see some amazing things because of my travel. As being a community manager, I got to go to Billund in Denmark, which is the home of Lego. I think 6 times,
Wow.
maybe more. Um,
You know
Usually
that
for
you've been
meetings, but
there
then of
quite a
course,
few times when
you do
you've
other stuff.
lost count.
Exactly, and so I got to see the Lego house being built. I was there when there was no such thing. There was just the middle of Billund, and then all of a sudden now there was a giant hole and buildings were gone, and then there was a pile of dirt, and then there was a stack of bricks, and then there was a Lego house there over the span of like 3 years. So that was kind of cool. I got to go to the Lego house before it opened to the public.
That's
That was
pretty
pretty
cool.
neat.
So
It was done. It was finished.
so whenever like for people who may not know, what's kind of in the Lego house? Because like I know that there's I think the vault of like every Lego set is there, right? Or is that in like Ole's house?
Well, so yes, everything you just said is right. So it's all right. Um, so the Lego house, if anybody really wants to dive into the true history and purpose of the Lego house, there's a fantastic documentary on Netflix right now about the whole creation of the Lego house. It's worth seeing if you get the chance to see it. But Lego House is designed to be this experience center in Billund, because Billund has long suffered from the same problem that Enfield in Connecticut has suffered from, in that passionate Lego fans want to visit this location and they want to see something, but it is a office, it is a factory, people are not allowed inside. Mm-hmm. So people for years and years and years have flocked to Billund thinking, oh, that's where Lego is, I'll get to visit the factory, or I'll get to visit the office, or I'll get to visit whatever. And that's not the case. It's a company. You can't just wander in. And so the owner family, because Lego as a company is still family owned to this day, the owner family said, we would love to really build something here that is open to the public, and it exemplifies everything about Lego, from the company to the history to the manufacturing to the creativity, everything. But it's something that is here and accessible. And so that's what they did. So they made this giant, beautiful thing called the Lego house. It has got, I think, 4 floors, maybe.
Wow.
There's a lot of it that is free to see. A lot of it is free to see. And then there's part that you have to pay. And a lot of the stuff that you pay for is more like child-focused experience / games.
Okay.
So like you'd pay and you get to build a lot of stuff, like, you know, kind of like indoor theme park-ish. But you go in, there's a Lego store, of course, inside, so you can buy your Lego products. And there is also exclusive Lego products. They have exclusive sets that are made just for that store. And some of them are actually really cool. Like, I mean, I'm not talking like little poly bags that are rare. Like, I mean, big $80 sets that you can only get there.
Wow.
So they have a Lego store. What you were talking about with like the vault. So there is a vault that's in the basement of Lego House, and that's kind of the whole history section. Mm-hmm. So that's where they have like all the walls have information about the history of the company. There's some history of the products, and in the middle there's like this digital vault. It's still cool, don't get me wrong, it's still a great experience, but there's not like a copy of every Lego set there.
Okay.
There's like a selection of I would say maybe like a selection of 100, maybe 200 Lego sets around you. But I mean, there's been thousands over the years. But there's probably about like maybe 200 Lego sets around you. And then there's these digital kiosks where you can say, show me the Lego set, show me Fort Legoredo from 1998. And it'll bring up a digital rendering of the Lego set box. And you can like digitally manipulate it with your hand on the screen.
That's
and, you know,
pretty
flip
cool.
the box around, look at the back, look at the top, look at the sides. And that's cool, but it's not like a physical vault of every Lego set.
Okay.
There is a vault of every Lego set that is in the basement of Ole's house, like you were talking about.
Okay.
And that is called Memory Lane. And that is not accessible to the public. But that does actually have a physical copy of every Lego product ever released in it.
Wow.
And that is more like, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's an amazing experience, but it's not necessarily set up to look, you know, super fancy.
Okay.
It's, you know, rolling racks with like a spinning little handle, and it's just, you know, it's shelves. It's shelves with a pile of Lego sets on it, is what it is.
Like I have behind me right now.
Exactly. I mean, like a lot of us do, right?
Yeah.
If you happen to get in on the Lego Inside Tour, which is the only official tour that Lego offers, period. But if you get on the Lego Inside Tour, you can find out information about that on Lego.com. They will take you on the tour into Memory Lane underneath Ole's house. And you can actually find your favorite set, because everyone has their favorite set. You can find your favorite set. You can take a picture with it. You can pose with it. You can look at it. You can touch it. They're pretty good about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the rest of the Lego house is kind of amazing. There is the kind of true gem of the house is what's called the Tree of Creativity, which is this insanely massive Lego brick built tree smack dab in the middle that goes from the bottom all the way up to the ceiling of the house, and that's just breathtaking. And there's a staircase, a giant wide spiral staircase that takes you up around the tree.
Oh wow!
So you like walk around the tree up to the house. On the top is my favorite area because that's what they have, what they call the masterpiece gallery, and that is where mocks from Lego fans are on display in glass cabinets. So they have a very nice collection of about 20 or so different builders, and they change it every year. So every year there's a new collection of fan-made models.
That's awesome.
Every year there'll be this collection, and there's representation from tons of different countries. And it doesn't matter where you're from. If they like your stuff, because they actually send recruiters to Lego fan events to find models that look really cool, or they just search the internet and they send you messages. If they like your builds, they will pay for you to fly with them to Billund and set them up in the Lego house. So you kind of get this all expense paid trip to Billund to set up your things on display in the Lego house and then have them be on display for a whole year. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So Lego house is totally worth the visit. You could probably, as a Lego fan, spend an entire day in there, no problem.
Wow.
You could spend a whole day and be very entertained. But yeah, so that's a really cool thing that's there. I recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that right now, I don't know, it may not still be active, but the Lego VIP program, you can actually spend a certain amount of points and you get a ticket to the part that you need to pay for. And it's like not very expensive. Like it's only,
cool.
Yeah, it's only like, I want to say like $5 in points or something. Like it's really not that much. So if you're interested in that, please, go check that out. If you're interested. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, we kind of talked about your experiences going to Lego conventions and whatnot. So, I kind of wanted to talk about the Lego community as a whole.
Sure.
Kind of how, so whenever you first start out looking at the Lego community, like it can be really, really daunting. Like I've tried to explain it to people and it's really hard to explain, funnily enough. Like it's really hard to explain yes. in a concise way. There's so many different things going on. There's so many abbreviations and, things like that.
Oh yeah. And, don't even get me started.
Yeah. And so, we have all these abbreviations. We have all, the lingo of Lego. That is a new catchphrase. Lego, if you want that for your copyright, please contact me via DM on Instagram. But anyway, so, obviously you kind of have to start somewhere. So how did you discover this, this community?
How did I discover the community?
Yes. Sorry,
I may you cut out right at the end.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
You said, "How did you discover this?" And then it was like quiet. So before I took on a role as a community rep, I was a little bit active in the community. My first exposure to the adult Lego fan community was actually when I was working at the store in Colorado. So when I was there, some of the customers, the frequent customers that would come in the stores, were these self-proclaimed AFLs. I had never even heard that acronym, an adult fan of Lego. What in the heck does that mean? So they were self-proclaimed. Well, we're AFLs. Like, okay, I don't know what that means. And they were telling me, oh, well, we're a member of a local club here. And that's when I first started hearing about things called LUGs, Lego user groups. And, acronyms, man. Acronyms. Lego fans in the community love their acronyms. So many acronyms. And what's funny is Lego, the company, loves acronyms probably 5 times more than the community does. There
That's
is
impossible.
so many acronyms inside the company that there is an internal only app for Lego employees, because they give you a phone. Usually, you get a company issued mobile phone. There is an app for Lego employees to find the definitions of all the acronyms because there's so many.
That is that takes dedication.
So it's
Like,
actually
who's
quite
making
appropriate.
all of these? Like, is there a specific
I don't know.
acronym maker job? Because I would be very good at that job. I mean,
It would be like a acronym smith, like a brick,
yes,
like a metal smith.
an
Be an
acronym
acronym smith.
specialist. That's where it
There it
came
is.
from.
Yeah. So there's a lot of acronyms, but I was introduced to lugs, and a lug, a Lego user group, is essentially just a physical fan club. It's a club of people that like Lego that get together regularly, whether that's monthly or semi-monthly or once a year or maybe even never. But they have like a website or a Facebook group or something, and they all like Lego and they come together as a club. So I was introduced to CowLug, the Colorado and Wyoming Lego user group, when I was in Colorado, and they kind of peer pressured me into joining. I was like, all right, fine, I'll join. And then, as a member of the club, I was then exposed to shows. Oh, okay, now I've learned about AFLs. They're adult Lego fans. Oh, now I've learned that these AFLs are members of clubs called lugs, and this is the local club in here in Colorado. Oh, okay, the club is comprised of AFLs, and the club will go to a show. Okay, like I'm like learning, right? Like in progression. And the shows could be stuff like a hobby show, like a model railroading show, or a local Comic Con, or a library activity. But something where the club is like, we're going to put Lego on display in a place, and we want you to be a part of it. And so I was like, okay. So they set up a display at the mall, actually. So they put up a big Lego town, like a big 60 by 60 foot town. There was a collaborative build across 10 or so people. And I said, okay, I'll contribute. I'll put something in that town. And so they did that outside actually outside the Lego store in the mall. And so I was a fresh new member, and I was put my thing out there, and it was I built a Lego store model. It's actually one of two, maybe one of two things I've ever had blogged on the Brothers Brick was my Lego store model.
Oh man,
So I
that's
put that
some high praise.
on. It's a badge of honor, man. Badge of honor. So I put that on the table, and people liked it, and they thought it was cool. And so I learned about that. I'm like, okay. And then the online community presented itself. So I think most people discover it the other way around. They find out about the online community first. But so I was introduced to the physical community first. Then I found out, oh, well, where do you guys put the pictures? Like, where do we put the pictures of the stuff we built? Oh, we put the pictures on a couple different sites. You can either go to Brickshelf, or you can go to Flickr,
Man,
or
that
you
is a
can go to
throwback.
whatever. I was like, oh, what's Flickr? Yeah, exactly. So I was like, well, all right, I'll use this Flickr site. And so I created Flickr, and I put my pictures on there of the things I built. And then from Flickr, I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's these other websites that like curate the stuff that people put on Flickr, and then they like blog about them. It's like, oh, there's a website called The Brothers Brick. That's cool. And then I would start reading the comments, and people were like, oh, well, according to Brickset. I'm like, what's Brickset? And I was like, let's go see what Brickset is. Like, it's like it's like this magical trail that you follow. And so you find out, oh, there's different resources available. There's different clubs. There's different places to either meet physically or meet digitally, and then it just keeps spiraling out of control from there. Actually, that's how I kind of went about it. But everybody has a different journey. I think the most important thing to keep in mind, though, for people that are already in the community, is to remember your journey into the community. Remember how confused you were. Remember how lost you were. And so, don't forget that. when new people are asking questions, be patient. When people are like, I don't know what that acronym means, explain it, because everybody's new. And the last thing we want as a community is to scare away additional members. We want to grow, we want to evolve, we want to bring new people in. We want to be welcoming. We want to be a welcoming community. And so just keep that in mind, is that newer folks are going to be in that same position you were, and you just need to be a little bit more patient and welcome them with open arms.
Yeah, very well put. Very well put. Because we're all doing this together. We all enjoy this hobby together, and we all need to try to enjoy it. And if new people come in and want to enjoy it as well, then who are we to tell them, oh, we aren't going to help you, So definitely for people who have
Exactly.
been around for a long time, please help out those newer people. Um,
For
so yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely a very good point there. Um, and then so kind of your insights on the community. We briefly touched on this a little bit, but you know, kind of like what are the main kind of websites and conventions and things that people should know. Let's say that we're talking to someone who, like, they have a good idea of, like, the acronyms and things, but like they don't know, oh, what's the biggest convention or the websites that I should be looking at for the best Lego content. Like, what would you say to someone who is kind of
Yeah,
looking for that?
sure. I think that's a great question. So there's a couple pillars of the online community for sure. Brickset is by far one of the strongest pillars there are. So
Yes,
brickset.com
I agree.
is an amazing resource for a lot of different reasons. But Brickset was originally established as a tool for you to keep track of what Lego sets you own. It still accomplishes that goal if you use it. You can go into Brickset. Brickset is kind of coined as the most comprehensive database of all Lego products ever released. Period. And for the most part, I think they've accomplished that goal. So Brickset is usually your one-stop shop if you want to see what Lego set came out when and where. It's got a lot of incredible in-depth information. It's got product names, product numbers, prices, and not just prices in US dollar, but price for every country it's sold in, as well as newer sets like from the last few years have like the UPC numbers. They have copies of the barcode. They have the exact dimensions of the box. They'll tell you if it came in a box or if it came in a bag. They'll tell you what minifigs came in it. There's product reviews if people want to leave a review of the set. But most importantly, you can say as a user, I own it, I don't own it, I own this many of them, or I want them.
Hmm.
And this is a great tool so that you can keep track of what you own. And Brickset has some amazing graphs and tools inside the site where once you start putting all your sets in it, you can ask it to show you graphs like, well, show me what Lego themes do I own every set from. And you can say, oh, well, you own all of the Harry Potter sets and you own all the Lego movie sets. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Or what theme do I have the most sets from? Be like, oh, well, you have the most Star Wars sets. You have 364 Star Wars sets. Like, there's a lot of great tools in there if you use Brickset for kind of what it's made to be used for.
Hmm.
Um, Brickset also it's a website and it has a front page and they like to show news. So Brickset will show a lot of news like, oh, here's the new things being announced. I personally don't use Brickset as a news source. I think it's more important as a database of Lego products. So for news, I actually recommend the Brick Fan.
Yes.
The Brick Fan is another site. They seem to be on the money with Lego news almost every time. So they're usually the first on the scene with new things like new books that are coming out, new video games being launched, new sets being released, um, new information, and it's just a very strong resource for Lego news. Um, As with all these sites, the two I've already mentioned, and the next couple I mentioned, they all have social presences. So, you can have brickset.com, but you can also follow Brickset on Instagram and Brickset on Twitter. BrickFan is on Twitter and Instagram and all that. You can find it. You can look. But so BrickFan is my go-to source for news. The Brothers Brick.com, I think it's brothers-brick.com is the exact URL. That is where I go to see the best original mocks. Talk about another acronym. My own creation. That is the best collection of truly stellar builds that can be found on the internet is going to be on Brothers Brick. So if you just want to be inspired and say, what are people building? Where do I go? What do I even look at? Don't even worry about it. Just go to Brothers Brick. They'll show you.
Yep, pretty much.
And Brothers Brick just they have a team of contributors that just scour the internet, and they look for the best stuff. And you'll get daily, if not more than daily, maybe twice a day, posts on amazing, breathtaking, inspirational builds. They always give credit. You'll always know who the builder is and where they're from. And they also have a great social presence too. So I get a lot of my Brothers Brick content on Instagram and Twitter. The go-to place for sharing your own photographs of Lego builds used to be Flickr. Before Flickr, it was Brickshelf. Before Brickshelf, it was Mock Pages. Before Mock Pages, it was Lugnet. But a lot of those sites don't exist anymore, or they're just not very helpful anymore. I have come to realize that with Flickr kind of on the decline, there's been a lot of other stuff. We won't get into it now because it's a long story. But with Flickr kind of fizzling out, I think the wider community really is just kind of coming over to just modern social media. Mm-hmm. So posting photos to Facebook, posting photos to Instagram, to Twitter. I really think that there's not really like a special Lego site for hosting photos anymore. I think it's just the normal social media places. And just, remember to use hashtag Lego and hashtag AFOL so that people can find your stuff. So that's for stuff like that. For events, as I mentioned earlier on in the show, there is no lack of events anywhere in the world, to be honest. Unfortunately, nobody has really put together like a comprehensive list anywhere. There's no website with a calendar for the whole year.
Actually,
there's no app that.
I'm not trying to cut you off here, but I have found a site that, like, at least for North America, I'm not sure about other places, but they have a pretty complete list of the major ones. I think it's called Brick Calendar. I'm working on finding it right now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think I might have heard rumors of this before.
Yes. Okay, so it's all Lego conventions in the USA and Canada. And it has like some lug events and things. But it's...
So, yes. I am familiar with this. This was actually, if it's the same one, are we talking about the site that has like the collectible minifigs dancing on the side, like a jazz girl with a pink boombox?
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, that's great. So this website is not useful at all.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
This was no, it's all good. This site was created by Todd Webb. Todd Webb is the owner and operator of Brick Fair. So Todd was, and he lives in the kind of greater Washington, D.C. area, which is why you see WAMALUG events on this calendar. WAMALUG stands for the Washington area, Washington, D.C. Metro area Lego user group, something like that. So that's why their LUG events are on this calendar, because he's a member of that LUG.
Okay. So it's a calendar.
So Todd created this website because...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
No, I was just asking what you were going to say.
Was Okay, he was frustrated because he was like, "Why has nobody created a comprehensive database of all the shows?" And I was like, "I don't know. Why don't you make one?" So he put together this site, but then he stopped maintaining it. So like I'm looking at it right now. Like I'm currently looking at brickcalendar.com. I'm looking at September 2019. It's got nothing on here. I click back to August. You can immediately see how not helpful it is, because in August you had Brick Fair Virginia, which is one of the largest Lego fan events in the world. It's not on here, and that's the show that Todd himself runs.
Oh.
So he hasn't put it on his own calendar.
Okay. Then yes.
August also had Bricks in the Six, which was in Toronto in August. That's not on here. July's got nothing, but July had Brick Fiesta in Texas. July had Bricks by the Bay in Santa Clara, California. So yeah, good intentions, but unfortunately it's not very helpful.
That site used to be a thing, but now it's not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It would be great if it really was actually populated, but it's not. So as far as I know, and if anybody listening to the show has found something, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
But as far as I know, there is no site or database anywhere that's up to date and comprehensive in all the shows. There's a lot. There's a lot of them. Some of the most well-known shows are Brick Fair. Brick Fair is mostly East Coast. So Brick Fair Virginia is the largest. Brick Fair Virginia in the Washington, D.C. area. That's August every year. And you can just find that at brickfair.com. Brick World. Brick World is like the tied with Brick Fair. Brick Fair and Brick World are two of like the largest fan events in the world.
Yes.
Brick
the
World
one I go to
is Brick World is in a couple different places, but Chicago is their big flagship show. So Brick Fair and Brick World have multiple shows that they do in multiple areas. But Virginia is the big Brick Fair. Chicago is the big Brick World. You've got Brick Con. Brick Con is in Seattle. You've got Brick Fest or Brick Fest Live. They kind of go by both names. Brick Fest Live is a little bit smaller, but there's kind of a lot of them. I think the big Brick Fest show is in Philadelphia, in Philly. You've got Brick Universe. Again, Brick Universe is in a bunch of different places. But I think the big Brick Universe is in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where it started. You've got Brick Fiesta. Brick Fiesta is in Texas, and it kind of rotates around the state. So it goes from Houston to Austin to San Antonio to Dallas, and then it starts over again. You've got Bricks LA. Surprise, surprise, it's in Los Angeles. And then you've got Bricks by the Bay, which is Santa Clara, which is right outside of San Francisco. In Canada, there's two events in Canada. There's Brick Can, C-A-N, and that's in Vancouver on the west coast. And you've got Bricks in the Six, which is in Toronto, all the way on the east coast. Those are the two Canadian shows.
And isn't Brixpo in Canada?
Yeah, Brixpo is growing. Brixpo is somewhere in the middle. It's like Saskatchewan, I think. Brixpo definitely has ambitions of being kind of a large-scale convention. I definitely think they can get there for sure. One of the folks that runs that is a really nice guy by the name of Adam Dodge, and I know Adam. We talk a fair amount, and I think that they'll probably be on scale with the other two Canadian shows, probably in the next year or two.
Yeah, actually. It is in
Saskatchewan. But they've been there for a number of years. It's like a smaller expo, but it's growing. It grows every year.
Yes. And so it is in Saskatchewan
and
in Moose Jaw.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many shows everywhere. And all those shows I mentioned, you could pretty much guess how to find them, like brickfair.com, brickworld.com, brickfiesta.com, brickcon.com. They're kind of easy to find. Mm-hmm. So you could easily Google them and find them.
Yes. Awesome. And I think... So what conventions do you, like, attend yearly? So, like, I know... Don't you go to Virginia? Uh-oh. Have I cut out? Uh-oh.
I've lost you completely. I didn't hear anything you just said.
Okay, am I back? Am I hearable? Uh-oh.
I can hear you right now.
Okay, awesome. So, what conventions do you attend annually?
Okay, I got you. I heard you that time.
Okay.
Um, so I usually attend any Lego fan convention that I am able to drive to. That's the key. When I worked for Lego, and as I mentioned, I no longer work for Lego. Do not work for Lego now. I ended my career at Lego in 2017, so I'm almost 2 years outside of working for Lego.
Okay.
When I worked for Lego, it was a lot easier to just charge the trip onto the corporate credit card and take a plane out to wherever I needed to go. Now that it's all on my own expense and my own cost, I stick to events I can drive to.
Okay.
And then my radius of how far I'm willing to drive is usually 10 hours or less.
Ah.
That's my requirement.
You should come to
So,
Indianapolis. It's only like, I think Indy's. Hold on, I gotta figure out how far Indy is.
Well, what is it like? A couple hours away from Chicago?
Yeah, it's pretty significantly further east than Chicago, but I'm working on it.
I was looking at trying to drive to Brickworld. I did go to Brickworld this year. As I mentioned, I was delivering the keynote address, so I kind of had to be there.
Mm.
It's like, okay. And I was trying to drive, but it was like a 15-hour drive. And I was like, I guess I'm going to have to take a plane.
It's almost 14 from Enfield to Indy.
Yeah, you're out of my radius.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the western side of Indiana, so that's not as bad of a trek for me, but I thought that was way closer than Connecticut, or way closer to Connecticut, but I was wrong. So
yeah, it's okay. So I stick to any show I can drive to in less than 10 hours. So this year that has been Philly Brick Fest, Brick Fair Virginia, Bricks in the Six up in Toronto. I'll be going to Brick Fair New Jersey in 2.5 weeks. End of October, actually. It's more than a month away. I'll be at Brick Fair New Jersey. I did go down to Brick Fair, Alabama. So I almost always attend all of the Brick Fair shows.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is I'm very involved with Brick Fair. I have a very close relationship with Todd, who owns the show, and I help run the show, and I usually will help him set up and tear down the show. So because of that, Todd will usually help get me to the show. So I don't have to worry about buying a plane ticket, because usually Todd will buy me a plane ticket.
Okay.
And so I did get down to Brick Fair, Alabama this year, and I went to Brick Fair, North Carolina. But you can almost always guarantee I will be at a Brick Fair show. No matter where the Brick Fair show is, I'll be at it. Mm-hmm. And then any other show I'm able to drive to that's less than 10 hours.
All right. I got to figure out where Brick Fair shows are. I'm working on it.
Yeah, so for next year, for 2020, the only confirmed locations right now are Virginia, which is the big one, mm-hmm. and then Alabama.
Okay.
There will hopefully be 2 other shows, maybe one more, but the location has not been confirmed yet.
Okay, so yeah, Alabama. Oh, none of these are super close to me, but I mean,
it happens.
I'm kind of in that weird middle ground where I'm really not close to anything. Like I'm kind of sort of close to Indy, but even then, that's like kind of a far drive. But like, I'm trying to get to Chicago, hopefully next year, but it's pretty up in the air. But anyway,
you really should. It is as silly as this sounds, it can be a life-changing experience. It's like, if you're a Lego fan and you're passionate about this, going to a show like Brickworld Chicago or BrickCon in Seattle or Brick Fair in Virginia, when you are being surrounded with literally hundreds of fellow people that think just like you, it can be truly a life-changing experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do want to try to make that happen, but we'll see. So yeah, no announcement, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, unless you have any more to say on that, I kind of wanted to get to your projects because you have quite a few very interesting projects that you
Too many.
You do.
Too many projects.
We all have too many projects though. Let's be honest.
That's very true. It's very true.
But anyway, so you run if I remember correctly, it's you and Matthew K who run Bricks in the Middle?
That is correct. You know your Hinkle knowledge.
I feel so accomplished. I know things. So
Yep.
Because I get the emails. I'm signed up for the email things, and I'm pretty sure it was in a recent email, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, so you run Bricks in the Middle, and so what kind of started that endeavor for you?
Yep. So as I mentioned earlier on, first and foremost, I am an artist. I have, since I was a small child, before I started playing with Lego bricks, I was drawing. So I have always been an artist. I'm very passionate about great art and making art. And so at one point, I can't remember exactly what year at this point, but there was a certain year where I said, you know what, I'd love to make a comic series about Lego fans, because man, oh man, are Lego fans fascinating. It's just like the whole fan culture in the Lego community. It just seems so humorous to me in a lot of different ways. And I've always loved making comics. I used to make comics when I was in middle school, and I made comics when I was in high school. I wanted to make a comic about it. So I said, I'm going to make a comic series about Lego fans. I just want it to be funny. I want it to just, quick, get in there, punchline, get out. Not looking for anything too extravagant. And so I had gotten to meet Matthew K. Matthew K. Was originally part of Beyond the Brick, a pretty notable YouTube channel that covers Lego content. Mm-hmm. And so I had met Matthew, and I really loved Matthew's personality. I thought he was hilarious. And so we were talking, and I said, I think you'd be a great potential partner for this comic series. I don't really know what you can do, but I'd like to work with you on it. And so we eventually formed a partnership, which we still have today, in which we make this thing called Bricks in the Middle. And it's comics about Lego fans made for Lego fans. I do all the art, so I'm the illustrator for the comics. So I draw absolutely everything. If you see anything visual, I made it. So like if you go to the Bricks in the Middle website, like I drew all the assets for the site. I draw all the assets for like the newsletter. Matthew got the lucky part and does everything else. So Matthew, he's the one that like created the social media accounts for all the for the Bricks in the Middle Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. He's the one that will actually write the emails that get sent out. He's the one that built our website. He literally built our website from scratch, something he knows how to do. And he does a lot of really awesome work. Like I really couldn't do the comic without him, and he really couldn't do it without me. So it's like a great partnership.
There you go.
Yeah, and so we've been doing that for a couple years now. It's finally started to kind of become a thing. Like people finally like it and they talk about it, which is super, super exciting as an artist to have something that people really like and talk about. But so Bricks in the Middle is it's in a couple different places. Obviously, it has its own website, which is bricksinthemiddle.com. It's got its own social presence, which is at BITM Comics on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. It even has a LinkedIn page for some reason.
Oh, man.
And then you can also buy merchandise. You can actually buy Bricks in the Middle merchandise on the website, which is kind of super awesome and cool for me. So you can buy like a T-shirt. There's 2 different T-shirts in the store right now. Like it's the classic Bricks in the Middle shirt, and then there's another shirt that features a design that the main character of the comic series, a guy named Sparks, was wearing in issue 1 of the comic.
Oh, that's pretty
So I thought that was
cool.
kind of cool. Like you could wear his shirt.
That's really neat.
So that's something we do. Each comic is 4 panels. They're always supposed to be funny. If you don't laugh, then I have failed. But it's supposed to be a funny little thing. It's just a funny joke at something in the community, whether that's how much we spend on Lego sets or what colors we cherish more than life itself, or how you talk to your loved ones about your hobby. It's just, you pick all these different subject matters and you just have fun with it. We drop a new comic as often as we can make them. I usually pour about maybe 15 hours into each comic. So they are not out as frequently as I would hope they would be, but they're out as often as we can. But that's Bricks in the Middle.
Awesome. Wonderful. And then you have your own podcast called Forever Sorting. And I mean, like, I have not seen the latest episode, but I want to, for someone who has no idea what we're talking about, give a I'm not going to time you, but like some kind of brief explanation of what the podcast is. Go.
Sure. Yes. So Forever Sorting is a podcast dedicated to the Lego hobby. It is co-hosted between myself and my friend Julian, who also goes by Brick Smith. That's his Lego name. A lot of us Lego fans have Lego names. So me and Brick Smith host this podcast every single week called Forever Sorting. And it was something I wanted to do a very long time ago. Actually, many years ago, I was like, oh, I'd really like to do a podcast about Lego one day. But I didn't know when or where or how, but I had a name for it. And I knew I was going to call it Forever Sorting. Because that's what Lego fans do. You sort forever.
Yes, that is correct.
I was like, it's going to be called Forever Sorting. So, I mean, forever ago, probably 7 years ago, maybe 5-ish years ago, I bought foreversorting.com. I claimed Forever Sorting on Twitter, on Instagram. I claimed the handles, and I just sat on them dormant for years and years. I met Julian at Philly Brickfest in 2018, Brick Smith, and he said, oh, I would really love to collaborate with you. I like your energy. I think you're awesome. And I said, I think you're pretty funny too. I think you got a great personality. He has his own YouTube channel. He does a lot of content. And so I said, yeah, we could collaborate on something. So after some brainstorming, I kind of divulged to him that I was like, well, I do kind of want to do a podcast. It's been something I've thought about for a few years. And he said, well, let's do the podcast together. And I was like, oh, yeah, we could do that. So I kicked up all the Forever Sorting stuff I had already been sitting on, and we turned it into this podcast. And then Bricksmith's like, well, what do we talk about? I was like, I don't know. We talk about whatever. I kind of wanted to have new people on every week. And he goes, no, Kevin, we have to tell your story.
I was like, okay. That is when the idea went from good to great. That is a fantastic idea for a podcast.
I didn't. Well, I mean, I was like, I don't know. I was like, Julian, that seems like I'm way full of myself, but all right. And he's like, Kevin, I'm telling you, I think you have a really interesting story. You've never really shared it in one place at one time in depth. I mean, I've done interviews. I have done countless interviews. A lot of them I actually have on a playlist on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist called Kevin Who? And it's just a collection of all the interviews I've done across all kinds of different YouTube channels. But so he's like, let's tell your story, and then we'll get to like the meat and potatoes of the podcast. I said, okay. So we decided to go back to the beginning. We are, I think, 50 episodes into this podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
We are over a year in, and we started from like when I was born, like where I was born in my like childhood, when I played with Lego, my siblings. We go all the way through high school, college, like when I met my wife. We talk about when I got my first job at Lego, and like, I mean, in depth. Um, Interesting things that happen. I have like photo album episodes. Like every couple episodes, I'll do like, oh, photo album episode, and I'll spend an hour just showing off pictures of like things I've been talking about over the last couple episodes.
Oh,
Um,
that's a really
and
good idea.
we are, yeah. I mean, it's. I still am kind of bewildered that people will just want to listen to like stories about my life for an hour every single week. But okay. Um, we, like I said, we are 50 episodes in. And we are currently sitting at year 8 out of my 12 years at Lego, I think.
Okay.
So, so we got a couple years left, but we've made some great progress. Julian was telling me this morning. We actually recorded an episode this morning, and he said he goes, I feel like I'm watching this long-term show, and I'm invested in your character now. And so every time something good or bad happens to you, I'm either happy or sad. And I was like, okay. But it is kind of therapeutic in a way. By no means is Forever Sorting destined to be a show about Kevin forever. It's just kind of what we've kind of chosen to start with. Mm-hmm. But I'd like it to evolve and be like a ongoing podcast where I would love to interview different members of the community every week, kind of like what you're doing. And just what I'd really like to do is talk to them about how they sort their collection, why they sort it, and kind of show off. Like that's kind of where the whole Forever Sorting and how you sort and store your Lego collection. Like that's what I love to feature. Like that's what I love to do. So we'll see. We'll see how we get there. But it's called Forever Sorting. Forever Sorting does have a Instagram and a Twitter account at Forever Sorting. There is a playlist of all of the episodes on my YouTube channel. They are also on Bricksmith's YouTube channel, so they're on both locations. And we also do specials. We'll do like a special episode every time either I or Julian goes to a show. So we'll do like a hype show. So like if I'm going to Bricks and the Six in Toronto 2 or 3 weeks before, we'll do a hype show about it, and I'll talk about everything I know about the show. So I'll talk about the schedule. I'll talk about the program. I'll talk about people I'm going to meet up with when I'm there. What are the games and activities? If I've gone before, I'll talk about historical context, what I thought about it last year. So we also kind of, do that as well.
Awesome. Wonderful. So yeah. So are there any other projects that you would like to kind of highlight? Because I'm sure that there are many, many Kevin Hinkle productions that you either already have started or are about to start or are thinking about starting. So are there any other projects that you've thought about doing or are currently doing?
So I'll limit it to a couple things. How about?
I mean, that's it's up to you.
One thing that I do that actually not a lot of people know that I do, but I've done it now for almost a year, maybe more than a year. I am a regular columnist in Brick Fanatics magazine.
Really?
So Brick Fanatics magazine, I think, is still relatively new to the U.S. / North American community. It is a UK-based Lego fan magazine, but you can subscribe to it here in the U.S. and it will be shipped to you. It's not actually terribly expensive, but it's not available like in Barnes & Noble here. It's not the only magazine. Obviously, there's Brick Journal magazine, which is definitely the longest running Lego fan magazine in the world. But Brick Fanatics, I write a monthly column for Bricks Fanatics magazine, and each month I will take a question that I was asked during my 12 years of working at Lego. I will take a topic and I will talk about it for a whole column. So I have addressed topics such as, why does Lego create exclusives for San Diego Comic-Con? I've addressed topics of why is Lego targeting adult-themed Lego sets like Stranger Things and The Simpsons and the James Bond Aston Martin. I've talked about Q elements. Q as in queen, Like, what is a Q element? If you don't know what a Q element is, I guess you're going to have to read my column. But what is a Q element? And so I write for Bricks Fanatics magazine every month. It is a paying job. I don't volunteer my time, but I get paid to do it. And it's another kind of place of posterity. Of these are things I've answered dozens and dozens of times over the years, and now it's in written form, and you can find it in that magazine. So that's something I do. I still do it. I think Bricks Fanatic magazine is a year in. I think so. I think there's been 12 issues.
Oh wow!
But and Brick Fanatics. When I say Brick Fanatics, it's also the same as Brick Fanatics, the website. So Brick Fanatics, the fan site, which is another news site. There's a lot of news sites, but like I said, I recommend Brick Fan as like the go-to news site. But Brick Fanatics launched a print magazine about a year or so ago, and they hired me on to write a column. So if you go into my Twitter bio, that's why I could add columnist into my bio now. So I am a writer. I write for Brick Fanatics magazine. Another thing, I would say probably the most important project that I'm doing is I'm desperately trying to launch my freelance art business. Mm-hmm. So now that I am post Lego Group, I am extremely hesitant to start another kind of 9-to-5 job somewhere. I mean, I've worked at Lego for 12 years of my life. I poured a lot of my heart, soul, mental energy into that company, into that job. And I'm very hesitant to start over at another company and do that all over again. Mm-hmm. So I'm really taking this as the opportunity, that kick in the pants to say, Kevin, this is it. Either you be an artist now or you're never going to be an artist. And so I do have a bachelor's degree of fine arts. I've studied art my whole life. I am a freelance artist. I do take commissions. I do take freelance projects. I'm always open for business. Mm-hmm. I do things like Lego sig fig drawings. So if you're like, hey, I have a sig fig, could you illustrate it for me? I do high resolution vector art. So that means that's art you can print as small as you want, or you could put on a 60-foot banner. It'll look crystal clean. There'll be no pixelation with it. But I do Lego sig fig illustrations. That's a big thing I do. I do logo design. Logo design is definitely a huge thing I do. So I've actually, some notable logos I've designed. I designed the Beyond the Brick logo. So that's my work.
Oh, wow.
I have designed the Clone Army Customs logo. I've designed logos for Bricklink stores, such as Big B Bricks or Brick Vibe. Brick Vibe is actually the largest Bricklink seller in the world. So I designed his logo. But if you are a club or a show or a book or a magazine or a YouTube channel, and you find yourself needing a logo, consider reaching out. I'm all about it. I actually really enjoy doing logo design. I really enjoy it. So I do logo design, I do illustration, I do graphic design. And as I mentioned, I'm always available for hire. So you can find my portfolio and my work on my website, which is kevinahinkle.com. And you can follow my artwork on social media. So I kind of kept my art social away from my normal social. So I'm online at Mr. Kevin Hinkle. That's me. That's where I am. But if you want to just follow my artwork, it's at Mr. Hinkle Draws. And so I do a lot of stuff with that. I even host like drawing streams on my YouTube channel. So every other Friday for 2 hours in the morning, I'll just sit there and I will draw what people suggest I draw in the chat. So I have a lot of fun with it.
That's an awesome
really, yeah. And hey, you're more than welcome to stop by if you get the chance, man.
Yeah.
Stop on by, throw something in the chat. But I'm really, like I said, I'm really trying to get that to take off. It would just be, I can't begin to explain how rewarding it would be for me to be able to pay the bills and provide for my family as an artist. That would be super, super incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm always doing stuff. I'm actually excited. In 3 weeks from now, I think I'm going to be having my first artist table at a convention, a Comic-Con in Philadelphia.
Oh,
so that'll be my first time amazing. as a fresh-faced artist. So I'm making. I've already made some stickers to sell. I'm making some posters to sell, and I'm also building some small Lego sculptures to sell because I do like Lego art as well.
Oh,
So I'm hoping that that will be a fun experience.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, um, so yeah, kind of moving on to our next big topic. We have Lego sets, and I know that you probably get asked all of these questions all the time, but I feel like they need to be asked for people who may be curious. So, if you're
Let's
willing
do
to
it.
do this, here we go. So,
I'm
obvi-
more than willing.
obviously, you talked about your favorite set, which is for Lego Rado. Um, but
Absolutely.
but is that your favorite theme, the Western theme?
Yep, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. Well then,
Not a terribly exciting answer, but yeah, I would say so.
well there you go. And so you like what you like. I mean,
I,
I
I
I
do. Yeah,
sit here
I
and I
would
have
definitely
modular
say
buildings
Western
and
is my
stuff.
favorite.
Yeah, like I sit here and I have like my stuff that I like. Like Harry Potter and Star Wars and modular buildings and architecture and all these wonderful themes. And yeah, everybody's got their favorite. So yeah.
And that being said, I do. Um, I limit what I collect
Mm-hmm.
into like things that I truly enjoy the build experience. Um, because I actually don't display Lego sets. So I build a lot of Lego sets, um, but I don't display them. For me, I do think it's very important to crack open a Lego set and put it together and build it because, I mean, it's meant to be open, it's meant to be built, it's meant to be played with.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm done with it, something about, and this is just me, and I have no desires to convert other people, but for me when I'm done with it, I don't like to display it because for me it's like building a puzzle. Like you open up a box, you build the puzzle, and then there's the people that like spray it with glue and then frame it and put it on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, anybody could do that. And so like I feel weird like when it's like I bought this Lego set, a team of incredibly talented people designed it. I had nothing to do with the design process. Another group of incredible people made this wonderful to follow instruction booklet. I had nothing to do with that. I just sat there and knew how to follow steps, and I put it together, and that's cool. But then it sits on yourself, and then people are like, "Wow, that's so amazing," and I'm like, "But I just followed steps." Like
Right.
I feel weird
Mm-hmm.
when like you get all these compliments. Like I feel a lot better when like I have a mock on display. People are like, "Wow, that's so cool." I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
designed it. Did you see all these things I did?" Like I feel much more comfortable and proud to display mocks in my Lego room than sets. So I just don't display Lego sets.
Mm-hmm.
But I collect certain themes. So Western is by far my favorite theme, but I collect modular buildings. I do get all the modular buildings because I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy them. I enjoy the build.
Agreed.
I collect all of the Lego Ideas sets.
Oh.
So the Voltron, the Apollo, or Saturn V, the fishing store, the ship in the bottle, the Marble Maze, the Wally, because I really like Lego Ideas. I love that it's a crowdsourcing site for fans to get their ideas out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. I collect those, and I collect the larger Star Wars sets. So like the Y-wing, the X-wing. I do have a Millennium Falcon, a sealed Millennium Falcon that I need to build soon.
That is a big set.
Because that box is just, it's a very expensive paperweight. So that's there.
Oh,
And
man.
I think that's kind of the only themes I collect. So I mean, but yeah, Western's my favorite theme, but I do collect other themes as well.
Okay. So then, we obviously talked about your favorite set, but what kind of like whenever I can't talk. Um, whenever whenever you are like looking at a minifigure, like what are some of your favorite minifigures, and like, you know, what do you look for in a minifigure that, you know, like let's say you have the opportunity to draw any minifigure you want. You know, what is Mr. Kevin Hinkle drawing as his ideal minifigure?
So it may seem, I guess, rather boring, but I like minifigures that are regular, relatable people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I mean, believe me, I love Marvel, I love DC, I love Star Wars, I love all kinds of IPs and properties, and I think it's great when there's a high quality, well designed printed minifigure that resembles that thing I like. But for me as a builder, I have hopes and aspirations to one day make the giant Lego city in my basement, like many Lego fans have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have one. I have not started to build one, but in my head, I have hope and dreams. And I actually, when I build my own stuff, like cities and stuff like that, I like to use the flesh tone minifigs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I have anything against the yellow. I mean, yellow is definitely iconic and classic minifigs. But if it's a yellow skinned minifig, then I can no longer use yellow as a buildable color for the torso or the legs or the arms, because then it's naked. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
if that makes any sense.
That's true.
Like, I'm like, oh no, now he's topless. Instead of like having a yellow shirt. And so I like to use flesh tone. And Lego's actually stepped it up greatly with all the licensed products in the last few years. There's actually a wonderful variety of skin tones and faces and body parts in all kinds of different shades.
Mm.
And so I like to look for just regular Joe Schmo people that don't look awkward. Like, I really like the Harry Potter figures because a lot of them are just normal. Like, oh, it's a hoodie, it's a sweater, it's a shirt, it's a jacket. Like, I'm like, oh, I can use that for anybody. So I gravitate towards normal, quote unquote, normal people.
Mm.
I really like it when they throw you one or two in like the city sets. Like, you're like, oh, great, more construction workers. But, oh, look at that guy down there. That's Joe Schmo. And, like, he'll be, like, just walking with, like, you know, a regular shirt, but he has, like, an iPod in his pocket. Or I'm like, that's a normal guy's outfit.
Yeah.
So I like minifigs that are, like, civilians, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah. And then, obviously, you know, with... you talked about designing CAC's logo. They make custom parts and things like that. And they also have custom sets on the market, not from CAC, but from other places like, you know, Brickmania and, you know, I think Citizen Brick does some, among others. But, you know, like, what are your thoughts on those? Because, you know, those parts are not official Lego parts, and some people are like, you know, they don't see them as usable, if that makes sense. So, I don't know what you think.
I mean, that's when we dive into the purist versus non-purist debate.
Mm-hmm.
And in the context of the Lego community, obviously a purist, for anyone not familiar, is someone who refuses to engage in things that are not provided directly from the Lego company. So if the Lego company didn't make that brick, you won't use it. If the Lego company didn't print that on the piece, it's not going in your build. Mm. And there are some hardcore purists, and then there's like some like light purists. Mm-hmm. I would say I'm kind of like a light to moderate purist. Mm-hmm. So when I build, I like the creative challenge and limitation of the Lego system of elements. I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. So I don't immediately, I'm not really enamored with custom elements because I'm like, I feel like it kind of, it's almost like using a cheat code to unlock a new element. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll try to find the solution in the parts that I have. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really interested in custom molded elements. I respect them, and I really think it's awesome that they offer that out to the people that want them, and people buy them, and these people have made wonderfully sustainable businesses, and I will salute them every day of the week for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I personally not super interested in them. Where I kind of dip into like the moderate kind of purism is I do like the ability to print things onto Lego elements.
Yes.
So like I'm a big fan of Citizen Brick, Eclipse Graphics, the Minifig Co., Firestar Toys. I mean, they got some really cool things that are printed onto Lego elements. My business card is a 1x8 Lego brick with my website and my social handle printed onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy that. I think it's fun. I think it's really fun to do that. I love it when brick artists like Sean Kinney, who's a famous Lego artist in New York, or Rocco Boutelier, who's a famous Lego artist in Chicago area. I love it when they do these wonderful Lego builds and they have signature tiles printed. So like they'll make this beautiful brick built sculpture, and then you'll see like this 2x4 tile with their signature printed on the tile. I think that's classy. Like
that's really cool. I didn't even know that was a thing, but that's really cool.
It's totally a thing. So I have I didn't put my signed signature, but I have signature tiles that have my my website and social that I put on my Lego sculptures.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, there are people that will literally print their actual handwritten signature, like an artist does on a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
And they'll print it. So I'm a big fan of custom printing, and I love that you can do that for special occasions. You know, I'm a member of Conlug, which is the Connecticut Lego users group, and they have special 1x8 white bricks with Conlug printed on it, so I can put that on my brick badge and represent my club. A hardcore purist will be like, "Oh no, it's been tainted. The Lego brick has been printed on." But I respect all of it. I think that customizers, whether they make custom elements or they print, or even people that make custom sets, I really like. I am a huge fan of Build Better Bricks. Build Better Bricks, or B3, make some phenomenal custom Lego sets for sale. I'm also a hardcore Nintendo fan, so I'm a little biased because they have like a Donkey Kong set and a Mario set and a Yoshi set and a bunch of really cool stuff. But they make custom Lego sets, and you can buy their instructions or you can buy the whole kit with the parts as well.
Wow.
And I love it. I love all of these businesses that have been able to establish little niche markets within the community, and then they are successful and they thrive. And they grow communities around them, and they're fans of their products. And I do have some custom kits. I have some custom kits from like Brick Loot, which is like a monthly subscription box where you can get Lego stuff in the mail. Mm-hmm. I have some custom kits from Brickmania. I have some custom train cars from Brick Model Railroaders, which do some beautiful train stuff. So I'm a big fan of like custom kits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, if I can pull up this, I was looking up the B3 there. Just to see it. And then, so yeah, kind of the final thing I want to talk about. And I know that you can't talk about things that you've seen. Like, I know that's a no-go. But can you talk about things that you want to see?
Sure. Well, and the good thing is now that I don't work for Lego, I can talk about all kinds of hopes and desires. It was a little dicey when I was working at Lego, because if you were asked questions like, "Oh, what Lego themes would you like to see?" as an employee, that could be misconstrued as me leaking information about potential Lego products. And so I was not really able to answer those questions before. But I would probably die happy if I could see some Nintendo products.
Yes.
As I mentioned, I am a hardcore Nintendo fan. I'm a big fan of all the mainstay Nintendo franchises: Mario, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox, Kirby, Pokemon. I would love it, and I think it is long overdue for Nintendo to partner with Lego for some products. I think the Sonic, little bit of Sonic we got from Lego Dimensions was a nice teaser into a world that could potentially be.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of the Sonic Dimension Pack, and I've enjoyed some of the other teasers, like the Lego City Undercover game for Wii U that had digital Nintendo builds in the game,
Mm-hmm.
like green warp pipes and yellow stars. But I'm like, man, you guys got to take the plunge. Take the plunge.
Just do it.
And I I know that the Pokemon license currently sits with Mattel that does Mega Constructs. And again, back when I was a Lego employee, that was very much frowned upon to be building or purchasing competitor products like that. But I have since purchased many of the Pokemon Mega sets, and I actually think they're not that bad. I think that they are gasp, audible gasp.
That is
they are not that bad.
That is not okay.
And I've also, I bought them because I wanted to see. Well, so what happened is I bought one. I said, let me buy one small set to see if it's garbage or not. And so I actually bought one of the smallest sets, like $7 set, that made a Meowth. And I was actually very impressed. This is actually pretty good quality. This is a lot better than I thought. And people need to remember that I think rightfully so, Mega Bloks has gotten kind of this bad reputation of being basically garbage because the parts don't stay together, there's color variation problems, the instructions are very difficult to follow. But that was Mega Bloks.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I mean, we're talking years, Mega Bloks has been purchased by Mattel. Mattel is one of the third largest toy companies in the world. Mm-hmm. Mattel purchased Mega Bloks, pumped millions and millions and millions of dollars into their R&D, has rebranded Mega Bloks as Mega Constructs. I would say, I'm not telling you, hey, everybody, switch over, but I'm just saying, if there's a property in particular that you really like, because they have a lot of very appealing license agreements, like He-Man, and they have Star Trek. So I'm a big Star Trek fan as well. Just don't be terribly afraid to just try. Just see. Don't be so stagnated that it's going to be. Hey, it may not be.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the Pokemon set. And so after I bought the one, I said, it's not that bad. I bought a bunch of others, but I've limited myself to only Generation 1 sets. So I only buy Kanto region Pokemon Mega sets.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love Nintendo to partner with Lego. But yeah, I know that Mega at the moment has the Pokemon license. And then I know up until recently, Connects actually had the Mario license.
Yes, I've seen those
so
sets. Those were so weird.
Connects figures.
Those were really
strange.
Were weird. Like,
I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't as impressed with those as I was the Pokemon ones. But
did you pick any of them up?
That's my wish list item.
Did you pick up?
I have a handful of them. They're in like the blind packs, and I still haven't opened the blind packs, but I have like I think 15 or so of the blind packs that have just been sitting in a box.
Wow. Well, I mean, like the only non-Lego stuff that I really do anything with is I am an Oyo Sports kind of fan, but the reason I like that so much, yeah, I mean, like it's it's pretty good quality. At least some of the like later ones are pretty good quality. I know that they like outsourced some stuff, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They like outsourced things and it wasn't as high quality. But like some of their stuff is pretty on par, so I feel better about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll give Mega Bloks a try and see what happens. But
like I said, if you see something that appeals to you, like if you like He-Man or if you like Pokemon or if you like Star Trek or if you see something that you're like, whoa, that looks really cool, like don't just like talk yourself out of it just because you're like, oh no, but I like Lego, so it's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Like, like I said, they've put a lot of money and R&D into it since Mattel acquired it. Mm-hmm. So just, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Don't feel compelled that you're like...
Yeah. I picked up some of the Call of Duty. Oh, I don't even remember which game it was. It was one of the older ones. It was like the World War II sets, and like I was really interested in those
Yeah.
because they were pretty good sets, and I built some of them, and they like there was one of them that like I was moving at the time, and it was like I opened it up and I built part of it. Like there was a bunker and then a boat, like a landing craft, and I built the bunker, and then I like put the bags for the boat in the box, and I have no clue where the bags went. So I like I don't have a full idea of what that set could have been, but maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll dig through some old boxes and try to find it. But yeah,
There you go.
there you go. Now I have a thing that I need to do. So anyway, so you said Nintendo. Anything else that you want to see, or uh,
No, I would die happy. That's it.
Nintendo's it. Well, all right then. So now we're going to get into the audience questions, and then we will move on to the news of the week, unless there's anything else that you would like to speak about.
No, I don't think so. I'm good.
All right. So I have checked that these questions are okay. So we will ask all of the questions.
They have been reviewed
They have been
quality assurance.
Yes. So the first question is from Zbrix Zach, and he asks, please ask him when he is doing a Chima Eiffel shirt.
That's my boy Zbrix out there repping for Chima. You got to give him points for repping for Chima. I'll say this. I'll make a Chima inspired T-shirt when you can find 10 more people that will all promise to buy it. I will absolutely make it for you.
All right, there you go. And then our next question is from Phantom Bricks, and he asks, do you want to join Corelug?
Sure.
Sure. All right. All right. So we have a commitment on the part of Mr. Kevin Hinkle that he wants to join Corelug. You can apply through the Discord server, which is linked in their Instagram thing. I just know that because
the more lugs, the better.
Yeah, I just know that, and there you go. And then the last question, and probably, oh man, I just stubbed my toe off of my own chair. But yeah,
all right.
The last question is from Farhan Mock, and he asks, how has your experience with the AFOL community changed since your departure from the LEGO Group?
That is a wonderful question. So I would say there's a lot of kind of nuanced ways in which it's changed, but I'm going to focus on one because I think that's like probably the biggest. When I was literally paid to talk to fans and observe fans and go to shows and speak with lugs, that was my job. And I don't want it in any way to sound insensitive, but there was so many people and there was so many conversations that it was very difficult for me to remember people. Mm-hmm. There was times where I'd meet people and they go, "Oh, we've met before." I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't remember. One of the major ways it's changed in the last couple of years is now, obviously there's people I still talk to because I have created a lot of relationships over the years, professional. And a lot of those professional relationships have evolved into personal relationships. And I'm very happy for that. I'm very happy that so many people, found an interest in continuing to speak with me, even though I'm not just someone paid by LEGO to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so now it's it almost means a little bit more to me when I meet people and I keep talking to them. Of course, there's also people that I used to talk to that I don't talk to at all anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I mean, there's no business reason for me to talk to them because I don't represent the company, so there's nothing they need from me. Mm-hmm. But that is a huge thing that has changed. for me. There's people that I have supposedly met before that I don't remember, and then I've met them again now that I'm outside of working for Lego, and now like we're pretty good friends and we talk regularly. I'm like, man, I don't ever remember meeting you until like a couple months ago. And I was like, dude, we met like so many times over the years, and we've talked. Like, I don't remember. I only remember like I feel like now a lot of the people I'm talking to, I'm almost talking to them for the first time, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because it's like now it's not me representing Lego. Now it's me representing myself. Now I'm talking about my thoughts and my opinions and my feelings and my perspectives, and not just the company's feelings and the company's perspectives and the company's answer. So it is kind of a deeper connection with a much smaller group of people than it was before, when it was a very light connection, I guess you could say, but with a vast amount of people across an insane geographic area.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's a good answer. That's a very good answer. So that that is all of the questions for this week. If you want to leave a question of your own for next week's guest, or next whenever I can find time to record, whenever you want to ask a question, I post a sticker on my Instagram story whenever I have a guest to announce. And once I do that, you can ask questions. So that's how that works. So yeah, now we're going to get into the news of I guess the month. Because, I haven't done anything. I haven't talked about any news in like a month. So,
and now we're going to discuss the news for 2019.
Yes, that's correct. All right, so we have some breaking news. Are you ready? Now, I don't know if we can talk about this. We can discuss it. I'm not going to show the picture, but can we discuss a set that has been found on retail shelves?
Yeah, you can discuss it, I think.
Okay. There has been a brand new Lego Star Wars set found on shelves, and it is a Brickheads set. And I'm very surprised to see that they're making more, but here we are. And it is, I believe, a Kylo Ren and Sith Trooper Brickhead. And it's a 2-pack. So, I can't, I'm trying to see the pictures right now. I'm working on trying to get the pictures to get a little bit larger so I can actually see them and comment on them. But yeah, I got a notification of a video upload, and it said new Lego Star Wars sets found. And this is, the notification came from M&R Productions. So he has come through with the Lego Star Wars news again. But yes, it is Kylo Ren and the Sith Trooper. If you want to see it, you can go check that out. But yeah, it looks like a Kylo Ren and a Sith Trooper.
Surprise!
And, yeah. It looks like a thing. And that's about it. I don't buy Brickheads.
So what I find fascinating about the whole Brickhead thing is, there has been no shortage of rumors about, I thought this was dead, I thought this was dead, I thought this was discontinued. I don't know who started those. I don't know why that even came about. So something I can say with slight definity is I was at Lego. I was working at Lego when Brickheads was launched.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan was not to be as aggressive outside the gate as it was. Because when Brickheads launched, that first year, there was a ton of them.
Yes.
There was I don't remember, 25 of them maybe?
A lot.
That was at least 2 years, worth of Brickheads.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it got shoved out so quick was in response of Mega, because Mega had launched Cube Bros. Mm-hmm. And Cube Bros, if you don't know what those are, they're basically the same thing, except in the Mega style. so slightly bigger, a little bit more expensive, but the same kind of Funko Pop equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And Lego was like, oh no, Mega has actually beaten us to a concept before we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was this emergency desire to shove out the door about 2.5 years worth of product in 1 year so that they could beat them at the market and just flood it and win, right? Win by flooding. I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it failed because I don't have any financial information. But the thing is that there was a choice made to take this splattering of products that was going to be planned for 2.5 years, shove it all into the launch year and throw it out the gate, which unfortunately means you don't have any new BrickHeads for about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens because it was planned and then you shoved it all out at once. It's a gamble, it's a risk, but it's one that they took. And there was still BrickHeads coming out. There's been seasonal BrickHeads coming out. There was, I think, news a couple months ago about a Jabba the Hutt BrickHead. I think.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
And now we've got this Kylo Ren, and so like it was never like, as I've mentioned before, Lego products last 3 years by default. 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know where the whole BrickHeads is dead rumor started, but when I first heard that, like, I don't know, a year ago, I was like, no, it's not. Please stop spreading that rumor. Like, let it live its course. You don't know this, but you're looking at 2.5 years worth of product that all got shoved out at launch instead of watching it slowly, trickle out over 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, BrickHeads is not dead. So
it will never go away.
It's catching up.
But
well, I mean, I don't want to say never. But
I could see it being like
it's not dead right now.
Yeah, I could see it being like a like the micro fighters from Star Wars or like the Mighty Micros from Marvel, where it's like kind of a an accessory theme is kind of what I want to call it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of clear, isn't it? Like why Lego did this. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's like they wanted, again, another recruitment tool to bring in new Lego consumers, people that are not buying Lego right now, but something that can combat the whole Funko Pop sensation.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, you have to admit, there was a time, I think it's finally stopping, but there was a time when you could walk into like a Hot Topic and the back wall was Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. And so of course Lego wants that. Of course Lego wants you to walk into a Hot Topic and wow, there's a wall of Lego products where there would not normally have been Lego products.
Mm-hmm.
So you're appealing to a brand new audience. I don't know if it has succeeded or failed financially. I really don't think they've done terribly bad because I don't remember seeing a lot of BrickHeads marked down. That's when you know something has performed bad, is when it's on sale. I think there was a couple sales, like maybe I kind of remember like Gamora being on sale,
mm-hmm.
And like one or two others, like during the like maybe Marvel or DC ones, but I don't remember a lot of them being marked down. I don't know.
I will say one thing.
But,
I will interject one thing. I went to Toys R Us about 2.5 weeks before they closed, and in the words of L.J. Johnson, rest in tiny, tiny giraffe-shaped pieces. But
there it is.
So yeah, obviously Toys R Us died and they had, Lego products on the shelf and all that was left was Nexo Knights and BrickHeads. After like 2.5 weeks to go. And they were marked down far, like 60% off, and they were still sitting there. Now, granted, I live in a pretty small market, so it's not like I will say, like, to give you an example of how small my market is, I walked into a Books A Million and bought, I want to say, like, maybe 10 packs of Harry Potter minifigures. Didn't feel any of them. Like, I just picked them up and took them home. And, like, the last one I opened up was a Percival Graves. Like, no one had gone through. So, yeah, it's like, you know, on the one hand,
It's
like,
pretty
oh,
great.
I get, you know, I have a shot at all of those exclusive minifigs and all that stuff, but like, it also shows that, you know, I'm in a pretty small market, so
Yeah,
obviously, you
for
know,
sure.
yeah. So anyway, that like, you know, we don't have a huge market share, but even then, like, you'd expect people to at least buy them when they're 60% off, you know.
I would totally. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be all about that.
Yeah, like it was cheap. Like they just didn't have any that I was interested in, so I didn't pick any up. But like, yeah. So anyway, that's another thing that you know is happening. We have the brand new brickheads. So anyway, number two is YouTube deeming Lego accounts as kid friendly. The implications of that and thoughts. So, have you heard about this?
I have heard about it. I have not dived into any of what it means.
Okay. So essentially, what they're doing is they are making a new class of channel, and they're like, I think it's called like family oriented or something. I don't remember what the technical term for it is. But essentially, what that does is it removes a lot of functions of the channel. This includes like comments and notifications and like really important functions of a YouTube channel, and those are all going to be gone, based on my understanding. So we could be in some
That's
trouble.
fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lego channels could be in some trouble if we don't like, you know, if if we are caught up in this. Like there was no specific definition of what a kids channel could be based on the like bits and pieces I've read, and like people were unsure if this would affect Lego channels, but let's be honest, like it probably will, you know, because you know it is a
Yeah.
family friendly product. So yeah, I mean that could be huge, like you know that could take away people's livelihoods if that makes sense, because you know
Yeah,
no
100%.
notifications and
It,
stuff.
it's
It's going
it's
to be rough.
fascinating, and the thing that I can't help but think with any of this stuff, especially for YouTube, is like, why is it YouTube's job to parent someone else's child?
Exactly. That's
And
what I've been trying to
I mean,
say and struggling to say.
and I mean, I've got kids, and you know, I've let my he just turned 6 a week or two ago, but I used to let my 5-year-old, you know, go on YouTube and watch stuff because he enjoys it, and you know, that whole autoplay feature's on, and before I know it, he's watching all kinds of crazy stuff that I did not want him watching in the first place. But I don't get mad at YouTube for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ah, dang it, I should have caught this, and I turned it off, and I'm like, nope, you can't watch that. That's not appropriate for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be like, time to sue YouTube.
Yeah.
It's
but,
just like,
but you know, there are
that's a
probably people
failure
that
on
would do that. You know, like
I mean, that's clearly what happened. I mean, you know, these changes only come about because of lawsuits or loss of money somewhere,
mm-hmm.
and loss of money like through the advertisements or whatever. So I mean, somebody did something, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, why is it YouTube's job to parent your child?
Well, I will say this. Speaking about the money aspect of it, they were just hit with a record fine. Like it blew the record out of the water from the FCC for like mining data from kid-friendly ads.
Yeah.
Like the previous record, I think was 5.9 million for like a something related to this, and they got hit with like 170 million or something ridiculous. Like it was,
Man,
like it blew it
if
out
they
of the
want to
water.
just siphon off like just one mil to me, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd take it. I'm
just
not
just
gonna
the one.
complain.
I'll just take one.
I'll just take. Can I just have one? Like, yeah, I'd take that. But no. So anyway, they, you know, like, I just don't think that this is gonna work. Like, what are they accomplishing here? They're getting rid, and you know, people were checking out like the ruling and stuff, and they were saying, yeah, this goes way beyond anything that they were told to do. Like, there was no need for this. They were just told to stop doing one thing, and they did 4 things. So it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so I figured I would just get your opinion on that. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't, yeah, I'm not as versed on everything.
Mhm.
But like I said, my overarching thoughts are, that's odd. Why can't you just parent your own child?
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see how everything plays out.
Yeah. I'm hoping that I don't get hit with it, because I just hope I don't. But we'll see. So
So unfortunately, one point of order before we continue on, not to derail everything.
oh no problem.
But I do have to leave in less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
I need to get my son to bed.
Okay. All right.
Then I have greatly enjoyed this.
Yeah. We're gonna make this a lightning round then. So
lightning round.
Yeah, there we go. So, thoughts on the Star Destroyer? Go.
I think it looks gorgeous. I really, really love the box art. I think the box art on the last several, like, UCS sets over the last year or two have just been drop dead gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
They really have stepped it up. Really good.
Yeah.
I think it looks good. The Star Destroyer is one of my favorite of the old UCS sets. The original, like, what is it, 10030?
Yes.
I have that one. I would love to get this new one. It's definitely on my wish list. I'll just let you know when I got a spare $700 laying around.
Yeah, 700 I think is a little excessive for 4,700 pieces. That's a little much, but
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather put the extra 100 toward the Falcon than to pick up the Star Destroyer. Like,
there it is.
And plus I don't have anywhere to display it, so that also might be a bit of a bias. But anyway,
there you go.
So that was quick. So we have Series 19, which is a thing that came out a while ago. So I don't know.
It has been revealed, and it is for sale.
It is for sale now. So there you go. Series 19, it exists, and I probably won't buy any of them.
I unfortunately am one of those, quote, one of those people, in which I have every collectible minifig from Series 1.
Wow.
So I will get it just because I have to, because I have a problem.
Do you have Mr. Gold?
So it's...
Do you have Mr. Gold? That is the question.
I do have a Mr. Gold.
Man, you are a very lucky individual.
And that is 100% actually has very little to do with my career at LEGO. That was a trade with a fellow LEGO fan in Toronto a number of years ago. He had 2 of them, and we were able to make a trade. I gave him a lot of minifigs in exchange for that Mr. Gold.
How many minifigs?
He had like a list of like... Oh, he wanted a bunch of them. Like a bunch of like polybag minifigs, you know, that you get like when you have like the Han Solo in the mud in a poly, you know, like that kind of figs. Like, it was like a list of those. It was like 15 of them. It was like this one, this exclusive, and I did it. It took me a while, but I was able to accumulate all the, you know, rarer polybag minifigs, and all of those equaled the Mr. Gold.
Wow.
So I was like, all right.
There you go.
So I do, but yeah, I have all of them, including the German soccer players and the GB Olympics guys. So I will get them all just because I have to.
There you go. There's your answer. So there's also the LEGO Star Wars Battles game. It's a PvP LEGO Star Wars game, and it's live, and it's like multiplayer. I think that is a step in the right direction for LEGO.
Yeah, I personally, this is my own personal taste, have no interest at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I do very much support LEGO continuing to explore digital and physical play and what ways they can bridge things together, or what ways they could try to explore in just the digital realm. But personally, I have no interest.
Okay, there you go. Lego Star Wars Battles is a thing. Um,
It's a thing.
Then we have kind of squashed together here. We have the Disney Train and Friends set. Like the Friends as in the Central Perk, not Friends as in Lego Friends. The
best part of that is that you always have to say that.
Yeah.
That's the best part of that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, Friends. No, not those Friends.
Not those Friends. Other Friends. But I mean, it looks cool. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty cool looking set, but I definitely won't buy it.
So I'm plagued with the same curse. As I mentioned earlier, I do collect all the Lego idea sets. So I gotta get the Central Perk set because I collect all the idea sets. I think it's okay. I don't really care much about the build. I think the figs look really good.
Mm-hmm.
I especially, oh my goodness. I mean, I was a big fan of the show.
Mm.
I think the Ross minifig looks exactly like Ross. Like, he's got like this kind of goofy, longish face on the minifig, and I'm like, that is the best Ross minifig that you could have ever made. So I think that's really funny. I don't think the build is terribly exciting.
Mm-hmm. I think it's cool
another
that
big
they angled
theory.
off the doors.
It's like, oh, all right.
Like the angled pieces they
You
used.
think what?
I think it's cool that they angled off the door to the right side, like with the stage. That's on an angle. I think that's kind of interesting. But I think it swivels around.
I'm also a fan of their decision with this set versus the Big Bang Theory, where they actually admit and acknowledge that it's a TV set. So they put like the scaffolding and the lights.
That's really
cool. I like that.
I agree. That's really neat. But yeah, I did not. I haven't picked up I haven't bought an idea set in so long. So.
And then the Disney Train, I think that's I think it's a great concept. I do think it's a wonderful idea. It really should have been done. The set, I mean, it's cool. It's not on my list. I'm not like, looking to get it. I think the Goofy minifig is like, oh, cool, Goofy, finally.
Yeah.
But I was already looking for him online, and I think he's averaging like $20-$25 on Bricklink right now.
Yikes.
So I was like, I'm not going to pay that much for him. But I think it's cool. I think it looks nice. There is a builder on Twitter and Instagram, MC Survival Man.
Mm-hmm.
M as in like mother.
Yeah.
Give him a look. He is a really incredible builder. He made a display stand for the Disney Train, which is stunning. And it's like, I think he made a 3D render of it, like using Studio or something, so he could buy the bricks to do it. Mm-hmm. I think he said it's like, I made this display stand. It only has 33,000 bricks in it. It's like, whoa. But it is absolutely stunning.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's like a proper display with like the flower field that looks like Mickey's head, the beautiful like chain link fences, the hill. He fleshed out the whole train station using the set design as inspiration, and it's got like these ballasted train tracks so you can just plop the train right in there. I think
that is like,
incredible. If that was the set, I'd be like, all right.
I'm picking this one up. But yeah, it's cool. I like the idea. I'm not looking to get it though. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. And then the final two topics, I guess. So we have 20th anniversary Endor, which is a promo. I don't know. Let me just.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot that was a thing.
Endor, Lego. Hopefully it'll pop up so I can actually look at it and give a detailed opinion of it.
I was kind of surprised that there was another one. I thought it was done.
Yeah, and then there's another thing. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But there was another thing for 20th anniversary that's been revealed. So keep your eyes out for that as well. Yeah, it's a cool looking set, but I probably am not going to line up to get it.
Yeah.
Considering
It's
I'm like
interesting.
2 hours
I
from
do
away,
like
so.
this.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
cut you
like
off.
the scale,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the build on like the whole studs on side building technique and the scale. But like I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good with it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the ATST designs also look really good, I think, for their scale. But yeah. So there's that. And then we have the ideas sets that were passed on into the review stage. I'm trying to find those right now. Ideas sets in review stage. Hopefully these will come up. I don't know. There it is. Maybe it'll actually do something.
I don't remember what we got in there.
I know. Oh wait, there it is. There it is. Oh no. My computer is lagging. No. I'm trying to get it done as fast as possible. Okay. It's finally starting to do things. Okay, there we go. So we have 10 products qualify. So there were a couple of them that were like taken out early for reasons that we don't know currently.
Those are the best.
Yeah. Like, we just have a general idea of what happened, but have no idea why it happened. So,
got it.
We have the UCS Space Shuttle Atlantis, which I cannot currently see.
I'm so done with space.
I don't know. I like it.
I like that people like space. I'm just done with space stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But then
we got the Apollo, or we got the Saturn V. Then we got the Apollo 11, which I know is not Ideas, but we got the Apollo. But now we also have the Lego Ideas International Space Center coming.
Mm-hmm.
To have another one, I'm just done. I'm done with the space stuff.
Yeah. I think if they do this, they'll be done, to be honest. Like, I don't think there's anything else
you
with
want
space.
One more?
No, I'm saying, like, I think that if they do this, there's not really anywhere else they could go other than with, like, some of the private companies that are making things, like SpaceX and things like that. But yeah.
I got you.
So there's that. We also have Thunderbirds or Go, which is something I do not know anything about.
A very, very old show that was made, like, with marionettes or puppets, something like that. I'm also not super familiar with the actual show, but
I'm guessing that this will not make it.
But if I recall correctly, that was done by Andrew Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And what's amazing is Andrew Clark has already had 2 things made because he had Doctor Who and the Flintstones.
Really?
This is his 3rd set in the review stage.
Wow. Man, that's pretty cool. And then we have...
I mean, obviously he's got the touch.
Yeah. He has figured out how to make it happen. And then I think, like, I'm going down through the list, and I cannot find any, other than the next one, that I like better than Pursuit of Flight by J.K. Brickworks. And by the way, the first one was by S. Nelson 42. And then this is a kinetic model, and, like, the planes move around. That is so cool. If that is made into a set, I will buy that on release day, possibly.
Yeah, he is a very incredible and inspirational builder.
Mm-hmm.
His thing is all about kinetic movement with his models, and funny enough, this is also his 3rd one. So he was the designer of the original Marble Maze.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that idea set.
Yes.
And he was also half of the pop-up book.
Yeah, I knew about that. I had seen something on that. That was, like, the way that he did that was really interesting. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, and then we have possibly my favorite topic. I'm a history nerd, so I really like the history museum. And if this is made into a set, I will freak out, but it won't be because it's a modular.
There you go.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean that's probably a safe bet.
yeah, but it looks so good. it looks so good. But and then we
Yeah, it's way too
have
big.
yeah, yeah. Although, I mean, I guess that's probably what we would have said about the one that came out not too long ago. That I'm the Treehouse. I mean, it's pretty big. It's like 30 by
Yeah, I
100
mean
feet.
you have a very valid point. I mean the old fishing store was pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Voltron's pretty big.
Yeah,
Treehouse is pretty big. I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. And then we have the elephant in the room, the office. um,
I I I love The Office so much, but I feel like I honestly love The Office a heck of a lot more than Friends or Big Bang Theory.
mm.
But I feel like another sitcom, like
I feel like it would
I don't
make it
know.
though. I mean, if these like the the Central Perk set is sold out, so I mean
Yeah,
that's if that's any indication, they'll probably do this one. And then we have the
maybe.
yeah, then we have the medieval blacksmith, which I think is a very good little build. The roof looks really interesting, but yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
it's a good build. It's a good build. And by the way, History Museum was by Bricky Brick. The Office was by Lego The Office, so clearly they have a vested interest in making this project go through because then their name is not going to make any sense. And then we have Nami Robb, who made the medieval blacksmith. Then we have Ben Louis says Winnie the Pooh. I feel like this is too perfect of a design for Lego not to make it. Like, I mean, come on,
Okay,
it's Winnie the
sure.
Pooh. They would make that. That would sell really well. Um, so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
It's a
Winnie the Pooh.
safe bet. It's a safe idea.
Mm-hmm. I I personally like I watched Winnie the Pooh a little bit and like read some of the books whenever I was younger, but it wasn't a huge part of my childhood, so I really don't have a connection to it. But yeah, and then another one of your favorite themes, NASA spacecraft by Micro Model Maker.
That's what we
Oh
need,
man,
another space thing.
we need more space. Can you imagine if they made this and the shuttle? Oh man,
I mean I can. I can
yeah.
imagine.
And then we have the Haunted Mansion 50th Anniversary Edition, which is a ride at Disney World, and it looks pretty cool. Looks like a thing.
I'm not crazy about that one.
Yeah. And then we have the Seven Dwarfs House by. Oh, wait, and then Good Old Price was the one who made the Haunted Mansion. And then the Seven Dwarfs House by Han was yellow first. And it's interesting. So, yeah.
Hmm.
And then the Japanese.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah. And then the Japanese Tea Garden and the Gravity Falls Mystery Shack were the two that were archived, and yeah, you can read about that at
Oh
ideas.lego.com.
yes, the thing, the
Yeah,
thing.
the thing that happened. And then our last topic, and I know you have to go, so I will make this quick. The possible set retirement list. Uh, so,
Yes.
are there any here that you're looking at picking up? And that is where we have to stop. Now, the recording cut out at the end there, and unfortunately, I we couldn't really go any further. He had to leave. So, yeah, we couldn't really go any further with the conversation about the sets. Although, looking back at it in retrospect, that was probably for the best. So yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to Kevin for being on the show. And anytime, if you want to come back on, you are more than welcome. And also, I want to say thank you to you guys for watching the podcast and supporting it up until this point. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week. I'm really gonna try to make this work for this coming week. So yeah, hopefully we will be able to make it work. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a comment down below. And yeah, thank you again to Kevin, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a spectacular day.